Greetings, and welcome to House of R, a Ringerverse podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. I'm Mallory Rubin, joining me today because today, King's Landing receives its queen.
Me?
It's Joanna Robinson, queen of my heart.
Whose head do I take?
Well, I'm the only other one in the studio right now.
Yikes.
So that's worrying.
Yikes.
Guys, come on in. Come on in. Joe, we are here, of course, to dive deep.
Profoundly deep. All the way to the bottom of the lake shore.
Fish feed.
Except there's too many bones in the way. Bones.
House of the Dragon. Yeah, a little Baltimore accent came out.
Yeah.
Over
bones.
there. Yeah, other side of the table. Wow, what a twist. We're here to talk about Hot D, House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 2. What an episode it was. It's called Queen's Landing. We are going to go beat by beat through the entire thing right after this. This episode of House of R is presented to you by Target. For 30 years, Pokemon has shown that adventures are better together, and Target is calling all trainers to the celebration.
That's because there's something for every era of fan in the Pokemon and Target limited time collection.
Thought you found them all after the first drop? Think again.
Drop 2 just landed, featuring life-size Pokemon puzzles and an instant print digital camera.
The entire collection is in store and online, so check it out now.
Explore now at Target.com.
Before we do any of that, we're actually going to share some program.
Wow, what
reminders.
a lie.
I know. We always say right after this. It's never right after that.
No.
Never. But you hook them, and then you hope they stay. Programming reminders. Here's what else we have cooking right now. Talk the Thrones. Every Sunday, immediately after the latest Hot D episode, we gather with our best beloved, Christopher Ryan.
Love him.
For Talk the Thrones. So Sunday night, TTT, Ep 3, be there. Not a good sign that I can't get out full words like at the beginning of the pod, but we'll see how it goes today.
I think
we'll see how it goes.
It's going to go very well.
I think that the state of peak exhaustion really worked for us last week. We'll see if we could tap into that same mania today.
Okay.
I have high hopes.
I do too.
I have high hopes. In addition to Talk the Thrones, and then, of course, the House of the Dragon deep dives on Tuesday evenings, we are covering The Vampire Lestat. We're having a blast. Check out that show if you're not watching it. You can watch it on AMC Plus.
See.
And then our pods will be up on Mondays most weeks. TBD next week. We have a little bit of a schedule wrinkle we're working through.
Going on. And so if the Lestat episode is late next week, I
Yeah.
promise we have a really good reason.
This is news to Carlos in real time
Yeah.
because we haven't talked to him about this
Yeah,
yet. He's in the control room like, what the fuck
We found
are
out
they
last
talking
night.
to-
We might have a
talking about?
conflict. So we're doing our best, and
That's
we
right.
will get Lestat up as soon as we can.
It will be there. We'll be rocking out. Maybe we'll do the entire thing in song. We'll find out. I can't wait to find out. And then, we're only a couple weeks away from the Odyssey, so that is thrilling.
Yeah.
We also have one Nolan revisited film left, Oppenheimer. So that is something that we will talk about at some point.
At some point.
In the coming months, weeks.
Mere
Do we know
weeks.
when? We don't, but
Mere
at some
weeks.
point.
We're also, it's July.
That's right.
Ish, almost.
I was like, I just assumed you were right when you said that. It's not, but
Almost.
it sounded right. You could have said it's September, and I would have said, yep.
It's almost July.
Yeah.
We're going to Comic-Con.
We are. Can't wait. We'll have more details
More
soon,
details,
but we
but we will be
will
there.
be there. There will be some
In force.
Ringerverse activities, so
Mhm.
plan and prepare accordingly. Joanna, how can everybody follow along? How can they get breakouts from the pods, memes and photos, updates on what might be coming at Comic-Con, etc.?
Oh my gosh. At House of Our Pod, our relatively new-ish.
Outhouse of House of
I
Our
said
Pod
at
is
House-
the rude troll fan parody
I
account.
said at House of Our Pod is our newish.
Nobody start Outhouse House of R. Don't do it. It's not nice.
It's already taken. That is where you can find all those aforementioned breakouts. You can also find us full video pods on YouTube
That's right.
or Spotify. Sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes we have visual aids. I do apologize to the podcast listeners for doing a prolonged map segment without any clue for the podcast listeners about what direction I was talking about on Talk of
The audio
Thrones.
medium.
Yeah, remember how podcasts are for
Interesting.
people listening? And I was like,
Interesting.
here you'll see this. Anyway, that's a rarity. Usually you can also just listen to us. Follow the pod wherever you get podcasts.
That's right.
Email us, hobbitsanddragons@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We're getting some great House of R emails for House of the Dragon. Thank you so much for sending those in. And that's it.
That's it.
I fumbled my way through that.
You did great.
Spoiler warning.
Oh my God. Spoiler warning. Here's how we do it during the Thrones runs. If it happened in the episode of television that we're covering today, guess what? We're going to talk about all of it. It's all on the table. Anything that's ever happened in House of the Dragon to date could come up today. If it's ever happened in another Thrones television program, Game of Thrones, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it could potentially come up today. In terms of book information, we'll sprinkle, we'll dabble,
Smattering.
we'll dust, we'll smatter some book quotes and content. Quote. The Baltimore came back to the proper side of the table. We'll dabble some book quotes. Going down to the ocean, hon. Gonna watch the O's. Have a natty bow. Some book quotes. As we go. For context. Clarity. But if it's a nugget about the future, anything about story beats that are yet to come.
Helena saw in a dream or Alys saw in a puddle. We'll talk about it in the book spoiler section.
Which you will be warned of as we near it.
Yeah.
Which stuff go? Corlys will have a spooky sound effect for you to signal that the book spoiler section is upon us. And that'll be at the very end of the pod. So you only have to worry about that late. Stick around if you want to. At that point, leave if you don't want to hear book spoilers. Okay. Is the upstart pup too craven to face his queens? We'll find out because it's time to pod. It is time for the opening snapshot. Ooh, I love that sword sound. Joanna, before we talk about episode 2 of season 3, just a quick update. One of the things we asked last week is, how many people do we think watched the premiere? Like, what is the audience going to be for the season as we go? So after we recorded, there was an answer to this question. 21.5 million global viewers after just 3 days per WB for episode 1. We don't have figures for episode 2 yet, so is this going to tick up? Hopefully. That is an 8% dip from season 2. That is obviously still a fuckload of people compared to how many people watch most television shows in the peak TV streaming era, but something to track. Anecdotally,
yes.
We were going to track this as we go, too. We talked about this a bit last week. What is the temp check? What is the read for you? People in your life, people on the old interwebs. Did you feel I felt there was positivity around episode 1. I felt an uptick beyond that for episode 2.
Substantial uptick for episode 2.
People are like,
people
we're back.
Really liked episode 2. Though, along with, and I'm not trying to, like, this is a jubilant moment. I think this is an excellent episode of House of the Dragon. People are really excited about it. And that's great. The other thing I heard was from people, wow, what a great season 2 finale that was.
I mean, there's no question.
Right.
It would have been sensational.
A sensational season 2 finale. And so that's just sort of the slight caveat is that it still feels like this belonged at the end of a previous season.
No question.
And so, that's something to think about. How does that impact this season? Because if we think about episodes 1 and 2 as episode 9 and 10 of season 2, that means season 3 as it exists is only 6 episodes long.
Right.
Right. So.
Right. These things are all impossible to pull apart from each other because had season 2 been 10 episodes and ended that way, maybe seasons 3 and 4 would have been longer than just 8 episodes. Maybe we would have been in 10 episode territory the whole way. Tough to know.
Condell and team definitely wanted those other episodes at the end of the previous season. I hope they feel really vindicated and validated as people are saying, like, hey, this would have been great. Yeah. And they're like, you hear that, money people? All the shit that people were talking about at the season 2 finale. Yeah. We didn't want it that way, and they didn't want it that way. And what if you just let us do this? So.
I was thinking back to all of our season 2 trailer breakdowns where we were like, this is definitely where the season's going to end.
Oh, yeah. Rhaenyra takes King's Landing. That's happening.
Gullet, for sure. Rhaenyra taking King's Landing. We're going to pan away. Like, Rhaenyra on the throne. What an incredible moment that's going to be.
We're like, wow, they're really hiding Gullet.
Weird that Gullet's not in any of the season 2 trailers. They must be finishing the effects. Yeah. Well, what sweet summer children we were. But set the table. Again, we'll go through all the beats in the deep dive, but set the table, Joe, as you already just kind of alluded to. You loved this episode. People are hyped about the episode. Queen's Landing, 64 minutes. Hey, I see what they did there in the episode name. With Chris before Talk to Thrones, we were like, we didn't have the episode title at that point. So we were like, what do we think this is called? Queen's Landing didn't occur to me, but it's strong.
You know what's really funny is that the only option I came up with was I was like,
Yes.
what if they did We Light the Way? And then I was like, wait, didn't they do that for the Rhaenyra's wedding in season 1 when Alicent walks in the green dress? That was called We Light the Way, directed by Claire Kilner, who directed this episode. And you also brought up We Light the Way when talking about the blood pool shot at the end of this episode with Otto. And you were like, remember, Rhaenyra's wedding blood pool shot.
Yeah.
Claire Kilner just like bookending her fantastic work here. I mean, she's just incredible. I talked about her a lot on Talk of Thrones, but I think she's incredible. Hearing the way that she talks to her various inspirations for this episode, hearing her talk about it, thinking back through, so this episode is written by Sarah Hess, who's written a ton of episodes, and directed by Claire Kilner, who's directed several episodes.
Yes, they're both EPs.
Yes,
and Sarah Hess is the co-head writer, so this is a power team.
Yes,
coming in for this episode,
and I think Claire Kilner has really proven herself at this point, in my eyes, as like, if it's a Claire Kilner episode, I'm going to be really excited to see what she does. And like, going back to her first episode, King of the Narrow Sea, I just like remember us at the time talking about some of the visuals of that. That's when Rhaenyra and Daemon go into the bowels of the pleasure den and like, have their night out on the town.
This podcast owes so much to that episode. It's really honestly. Frankly, where would we be without it?
It's really true. I Googled that just to make, even though we've said it 1 million times, I Googled it just to make sure I had it completely right. And dumb AI, so AI's dumb, but the dumb AI result was like, Otto's famous line from House of the Dragon. I was like, if it's famous, that's because of us. I don't think it is, but if it is,
incredible.
It's because we willed it into fame. We Light the Way, the Blood Wedding in season 1. The Green Council, which is the penultimate episode of season 1.
That's a blight on the record, that episode.
I don't know, like, because...
But not through the fault of direction, I think
the opening of that episode of, like, Viserys is dead, like, what's going on? Like, I remember the opening of that episode being really good.
Yeah, that stuff's quite good. Death by Small Ball, still iconic to this day. I can't get over everything in the Dragon Pit with Meleys and Rhaenys and everything. It just still doesn't make sense, but that's not Claire Kilner's fault.
That makes no sense.
Claire Kilner's
it's
fault.
Never made a single lick of sense.
Bizarre.
Did you see on social media, there was this tweet going around where it was like, if Lady Olenna had a dragon, like the war would be over. And it was like comparing Olenna to Rhaenys or something like that. And they're like, I'll tell you something right now. Olenna would have torched the shit out of the Greens.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
You're
a dragon, be a dragon?
Yeah.
No question. I did not see the tweet. I barely go on Twitter, as you know.
I know.
I basically go
But sometimes tweets make their way into Instagram, so I don't know what you've seen meme-wise.
That is true. Every now and then someone will post a tweet on an Instagram story. Every now and then on a carousel.
There you go.
That's the extent of my Twitter exposure, other than the 3 times a year that I tweet out this podcast. And then I look at my Twitter and I'm like, all it is tweets about House of the Dragon and Joe. Feels right.
That feels good.
It feels right.
Good. Last but not least, Claire Kilner, the only one she did no, that's not true, but she directed Rhaenyra the Cruel. Cargill Bowl.
Yes, the episode 2 and episode 5 of season 2.
Cargill
so a meaty list.
Bowl.
Your favorite. You loved Cargill Bowl.
Favorite thing that's ever happened. Anyway, Claire Kilner, what a star, really, really brought it in this episode, I think.
It's just such a treat to have Joffrey and his beaten, bloody head and the blood pool from season 1, episode 5 back on our minds. It's like Otto did do something good at the end. He gave us an excuse to remember Joff.
Do you think... I was actually
before
thinking...
his namesake, other Joff, comes back into the story.
I was thinking about poor dead Joffrey.
Yeah.
When Simon Strong dies in this episode during Pride Month, and I'm just sort of like, listen.
Yeah.
In the same episode where he was like, virile young man.
What
brought you here?
Incredible
Simon.
reply from Daemon when he's like, and which of those brought you through Glade and Glen?
You know what's
wonderful?
You know what's really fun about that? Sorry, we are going to go in order probably, but
we'll do what we want.
We're going to talk plenty about the fish feed, obviously.
Fish feed
and that
fish
song.
Feed.
But Sean from the History of Westeros podcast pointed out that if they are indeed like improvising lines there in the fish feed song, Daemon is like still going because Simon says when the Riverlands were ascendant, music and meat and virile young men.
Yes.
And Daemon says, and which of these delights drew to us through Glade and Glen? Like he just can't stop. He's still dropping bars.
Songwriting?
Yeah.
Get Daemon Targaryen on the Vampire Lestat tour bus and do it now.
Oh yeah, his rendition of Big Boss would have been really good.
Daemon would lay down
Anyway.
an epic diss track.
Aemond killing a gay icon during Pride Month. Kristen Cole beat one to death. So bros who gay bash together stay together. We'll see how Kristen and Aemond do. But happy Pride. Simon Strong, we'll miss you. I'm really bummed.
Despondent about Simon Strong. Even
Really
though we knew
bummed.
it was coming, it's still devastating because he's been such a delight. I also thought this episode was just wonderful. Really, really excellent. Some astonishingly great performances and moments that feel, and I overuse the word iconic.
You do.
But
legendary.
I don't say this lightly here. I think there are moments in this episode that feel like they will stand the test of time as signature Pantheon Thrones visuals and Thrones moments. Rhaenyra receiving Jace's body and the performance from Emma Darcy in that scene. Unquestionably, the visual of Rhaenyra ascending to the throne reflected, as you noted, in the pool of Otto's blood, and what that tells us not only about that moment, but the cost of war and the inextricable nature in this stretch of the canon, the Dance of the Dragons for House Targaryen, of your achievement and your pursuits and the toll and the cost of that. And the cost of war is where we open this episode, and it's a through line of the story and a question that should be on our minds the whole time. And Alicent and Rhaenyra looking at each other is something that I think Thrones fans will carry with them moving forward at the end. It's just amazing.
Emma's face on the throne, this thing that she has always, she, Rhaenyra, they, Emma.
Yes.
Rhaenyra has always wanted to sit on the throne, and then here it is. And that to me is the through line of this episode, is just sort of like, what do people actually want? What are they given and what do they want? You know, like Alys wants a castle and Daemon's like, we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, Ulf wants a hug.
But he gets a slap in the fucking face.
He gets a slap in the face instead. Yeah. But it's just sort of like this idea of like,
you
know, what does Alan want? Does he want his Corlys' name, or does he just want like some love and respect? Like, what do you want? What do you want? And what are you given? And then also, what happens when you finally get what you want? Was it actually what you wanted all along?
Let's ask Rhaena, you know? How does it feel to get the thing
dragon?
You finally want and then find yourself in that
feels great. She looks great. She looks great. She's thriving.
Everything's going really well.
Yeah.
For all of
Jade
the
Aaron's
characters.
like, great, I got a dragon. This is great. Comes with no baggage attached. This is wonderful for me.
Man. Yeah, I agree. That through line is really rich text to parse in this episode. And Rhaenyra most of all, but Alicent, so many of the characters. And then that through line too of like trust and loyalty and what you can rely upon and what you have to doubt at all moments. And whether you're ever really in a position to be able to identify that. Like, it's just this was a really good Thrones episode for balancing character dynamics, introspection, the relationships between them, the way that this episode called upon and rewarded the history that has passed between the characters, but also our history as viewers with the characters. Like, you know, there are definitely some House of the Dragon fans still that are like, did we need 5 episodes of basically prequel? You watch an episode like this and that feels like a decision that was appropriate to make, for example, right? So, you know, there's all of that. And then there's something that is like epic, like the taking of the throne. Yeah. That is just a huge moment.
To go back to your balance point, which I think is such a good one, something that Claire Kilner said is that action without emotion is useless, right? And so she's always mindful as a director of making sure that we like feel the action. And I think that's a problem I had with the Gullet in episode 1, is I didn't feel as emotionally connected to it as I wanted to.
Lohar being your long established favorite character who you are the most invested in, you didn't feel it.
Everyone spent years invested in Lohar. So, you know, that's what I'm always asking for. When we talk about spectacle versus whatever, like I don't mind spectacle if it's tied to something emotional, like Rook's Rest, you know, which you brought up, like my emotions were so tangled in that moment. So like
Anakin and Obi-Wan facing off on Mustafar.
Same level. Same. Exactly the same. So
I agree, and I knew you would agree.
So, I like when you have something in this episode, like Aemond arriving on Vhagar at Harrenhal, like all that looks really cool. And I don't take that for granted. I don't take for granted how good the dragons look.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. Because if they look shitty, we would be taken out of the story. And it's very immersive to see these dragons rendered so beautifully. And they're everywhere.
That's
you
amazing.
see Sheepstealer in the back of Rhaena. You know, Sheepstealer didn't have to be in that scene, but Sheepstealer's there. Caraxi taking like a little drink from
possibly my favorite moment in the series.
Corpse-infested waters of the God's Eye.
You know, if you're a dragon, it tastes delicious. And a lot of those corpses were probably roasted before they went in there.
An umami flavor to the water.
Exactly.
So
really cat-coded moment for Caraxes right there.
But the dragons are everywhere.
They're amazing.
You know, and that's incredible. I don't take that for granted. But with like Aemond and Vhagar at Harrenhal, it's Aemond being like shanked in the side and then crawling on the floor and saying like, help me. Yeah. That's the juice for me.
Yes.
Here's my one, I didn't need it from this episode.
Yeah.
2 episodes into the season, 2 sexual assaults. And I'm like, you know what? I understand it's a proud thrones tradition.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be so proud of it. I think there are so many ways we could have conveyed a similar story for Alicent here about like, no matter how much conniving she does or whatever, as a woman, she's still powerless in many ways. There are things that we could have done, but I didn't need that part of this episode.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
But I loved this episode otherwise.
Me too.
Big fan.
Should we head to the Bowels of a Pleasure Den? Should we head to the deep dive?
Let's do it.
Oh, there's that screech. Okay, before we get to the actual episode, just quickly, opening credits check-in, because the tapestry in the opening credits evolved across season 2. Mm-hmm. And here is our first update inside of season 1. The gullet has been stitched into the fabric on the heels of the sewing. We get the kind of blue thread for the water. I thought that looked cool.
Oh, it did. And the way the tapestry was like waving. I thought
really
it looked really
neat. Cool. Lohar makes the tapestry, which, like, frankly outrageous.
My favorite character that I've been long invested in.
Looked amazing. The design of it is incredible, obviously.
Do you think it's a spoiler that there's a blood pool around Lohar and a blood pool around Jace, but not one of our own Corlys?
I was interested to see how many people.
Minutes.
Yeah, for mere minutes, how many people left? Because I actually did get, Chris had asked us about Corlys after episode 1, and then I did get some texts from friends who were like, "Is the sea snake okay?" Yeah. Glad you mentioned arrow-riddled Jace, who of course belongs on the tapestry, heir to the Iron Throne. This is a huge moment in the war, deserves to be commemorated in the opening credits and in the tapestry of history. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Where's Vermax?
Where the fuck is Vermax? I'm sorry, but to not put sweet baby Vermax, who died for these buffoons?
Bottom of the gullet.
Let's pan down through that gorgeous blue thread. It's already there.
Really tough. I know. Are you mad that Bela didn't try to haul Vermax's body on the back of Moondancer to wing him home?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
I feel seen and known and understood. I didn't consider it possible or practical for Bela or anyone to retrieve Vermax's body. However, I did think it was quite amusing in a way that I respect on the show's behalf, that Jace very kindly died with one arm over a wooden plank so that his body could be retrieved.
So that Bela could just like, yoink
Thank you, Jace. You did one thing right at the end. Mopping up in the gullet. This is where we begin the episode. The seeds have come in, Joe, for mop-up duty. And we talked last week in episode 1 about this adaptive change to not have Ulf and Hugh and Adam at the gullet. And, we see their additional dragons, the force of the flame, kind of like just clearing out the remnants here, though some of the remnants will remain. And can't wait to talk about our favorite characters in the history of television. Aegon and Larys. Still don't know how we got here, but here we are.
Give me credit.
You were on it minute 1. With Larys. Minute 1.
Minute 1.
Minute 1.
I think you were early on Aegon.
Yeah.
I think you were early on Tom Glencarney as Aegon.
The
like,
remarkable
this is
performance
kind of
from the first, the first scene. Just great stuff here. They did not arrive in the thick of the action, as in the text, but they got there at the end so that Dolph can say, we were at the gullet too, which I found just incredibly amusing.
Vermithor and Silverwing, and Seasmoke, and Seasmoke, has seen some battle, but Vermithor and Silverwing are massive dragons.
Yeah.
If they had been at the gullet, like the thing about Vermax,
tiny,
and Moondancer, youthful, tender. So those like
tweens,
they are susceptible to these, grappling hooks, whatever we're calling them, poniards. I don't know, but in a way that these older dragons wouldn't be. So
the Bronze Fury would be tough to take down, to pull down with one of those.
Follow-up question.
Tell me.
Do you think Daemon is so weird about Hugh and Ulf because their dragons are bigger than his dragon?
Oh, you think it's a dick measuring contest?
I do. I mean, Caraxes is a long noodle boy, but
but like
the Bronze Fury.
So interesting because Caraxes has length.
Yeah.
And wiggle. You know,
Dexterity.
Caraxes knows how to move.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what we've seen with the shrieks and the squeaks tells me that Caraxes is up to some interesting things.
Okay.
So I think Daemon feels confident, but it's Daemon, and so there's always a little bit of insecurity to feel that. This is a great shout. This is why you're the best.
Bronze Fury is big boy.
Hefty.
Yeah.
Girthy.
Yeah. Silverwing, a grand old dame.
Grand old dame. Joe, on the imagery front, the dragons and otherwise, this is just a quick opening stretch, but we have like this real kind of cacophony of sights and sounds. I think that the score is excellent this season so far. I mean, it's always good, but it is really, really resplendent early. And I thought that the use of the musical accompaniment in these opening moments were really powerful. And then on the visual front, we have, all the floating bodies, right?
Like to be under the water and see the fire come from above the water.
Blanketing.
Yeah.
I liked like the literalization of last week's episode title, the salted sea and fire of blood, but just what that shows you about the way that the fire can kind of take over the world.
We open with fire and we end with blood. Hey,
Fire and Blood.
That's the name of the book.
Not sure if you all have heard. That's the fictional history that this show is adapting. Yeah. I thought that and this is also something we get to really see in a cool way later when Rhaenyra and the riders are leaving Dragonstone to head finally to King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
The air is just choked with smoke and wreckage and the carnage of the battle. And so much of what
Corlys' legacy.
Corlys' legacy, up in smoke, tough. So much of what we linger in appropriately inside of this episode is the personal cost, right? The really intimate loss and toll of what has happened here. So it is, I think, important and helpful to just give us these reminders of how many people died and how savage this battle was. The fleets are annihilated, and this rooted us and oriented us very effectively from the jump.
I do think it's interesting. I don't know if it's if it's clear to folks watching at home who haven't read the book, but the Battle of the Gullet, bloodiest battle on water, and then the Fishfeed, bloodiest, also kind of a water battle, but bloodiest land battle. So the two bloodiest chapters of the war. Certainly not the last. We certainly have many more skirmishes to come, but we have just gone through the two bloodiest battles, the biggest losses of human life inside of this war in the last couple episodes.
Not ideal.
Not great.
Not ideal. And yet no loss was felt more keenly than
Jace. Prince Jace. Yeah.
That's a book line that we love. Jace is brought home.
Fuck those pirates. Yeah.
Vale brings him home. The Dragonstone Dragon Keepers carry him forward, this procession of his body.
How do you feel about this, about the Dragon Keepers? So, the Dragon Keepers last season were, pissed about the whole
the
sewing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but how do you feel about them burying Jace's body like this? I think it's really interesting. You could have had any castle staff sort of acting as pallbearers here, but, obviously up the Dragon Mount, having the Dragon Keepers so close to Moon Dancer is ideal. But it just, felt really Jace, he's a dragon.
Yeah.
He was of dragon blood. Something that was obviously he's always Rhaenyra's son, but a part of him that was questioned his whole life. And here at the end, it's these dragon keepers sort of burying his body. I just thought this whole sequence was, again, just where the camera was as Jace's sort of beautiful dead face just sort of comes down.
Still serving face even as a corpse.
Crowd surfing. Yeah.
That's a beautiful observation. And then, the person who would have appreciated it most, of course, is Jace, who's not
dead.
there because he's dead. But yeah, to honor the fact that he was a rider and that he died on dragonback, sort of, kind of. He had unhooked and then just got shot by arrows by the Triarchy. Tough way to go. In battle. A battle that he shouldn't have been in because he wasn't ready, but he did die that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love, on the bookends front, too, this episode opens with a body. This episode closes with bodies. We've got the decapitated Otto.
Yeah, bodies.
We're probably not going to spend much time when we get to the end of this pod and we're obsessing over the Otto sequence. But let's just note, Ironrod also gets decapitated, and he deserved to.
I don't care.
No one gives a shit, but he did. He died his own down my wife. Very good. Very good. Daemon coming in to decapitate characters who are in the middle of sentences is one of my favorite House of the Dragon traditions.
Loves to do
Daemon's like, I wasn't alone. So we have these bodies at the bookend of the episode, the open and the close. But it just made me think more broadly of like when there is, I don't want to be too weird and spend too long talking about corpses here, because even we have limits on the House of R, so I'll try. Or do we? Try to say this quickly, but like, this was on my mind. Like, what when a character dies, what happens to that body, and what does it tell us about where we are in the story? Like, what the context of the moment is, and what grace or indignity befalls that body. Like, what it indicates about the moment in time. Like, Ned. Spoiler: Ned Stark is beheaded. Tough one.
And they put his head on a pike.
His head is on a pike, right? To be eaten by crows and picked at, and
Ned and Jason
Sansa has
Lannister
to look at.
Equally important.
I don't like to see lions or any animals harmed, but they did an amazing job with that prosthetic. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. The prosthetics team is killing it here. And then Ned's that indignity, but then his bones, and granted it's part of a manipulation, for Littlefinger, but they're presented to Cat, right? So you have that. Robb and Grey Wind stitched together, their bodies befouled, right?
Okay.
A horrifying one. You have the sequences where a character like Tywin can rest with the stones on the eyes, but then like, is the corpse rotting? Does it stink? Even so, I just mentioned Vaemond. Like, that was a very tense death and a tense moment in the story. But then we were treated to this really fascinating, quiet sequence where Rhaenys went in to watch the Silent Sisters at their work and reflect on the inescapable presence of the stranger. So, Rhaenyra, who could never find Luke's body, right? And that was such an important part of Rhaenyra's grief after Luke was killed at the end of season 1. And it was one of the things that Daemon, when he was like, real dick mode for Daemon at that point, right? But he was basically like, the mother grieves and the queen shirks her duties. And Rhaenys had to say to him, I could not accept what happened to my daughter, Lena, until I saw her body. And this is something that is not on offer to Rhaenyra with Luke. It is here. What we witness is so devastating that I think it forces us to ask, like, is this any better, or is this just misery in a different form?
I love this. And like, we talked about this last week in terms of like the various traditions of the various, the Riverlanders returning the body to mud or whatever.
Right.
Odd that you didn't mention Prince Joffrey's dead body front of which his mother and his father, who is also his uncle.
Yes.
Fucked.
I was going to, but it's such a controversial scene and choice that I couldn't quite bring myself
like Breaker of Chains. Why would we talk about that episode? It's great stuff.
Boy.
Yeah. I thought this was incredible. Like bringing Jace's body in. We talked about this plenty on Talk the Thrones about how incredible Emma is in this scene, how incredible it is for Rhaenyra. Were you thinking about, speaking of Cersei, were you thinking about other like mothers inside of Thrones who we've watched? Whether it's Cersei or Catelyn or Daenerys losing one of her dragon babies or whatever, like, these mothers and their horror, Cersei holding Joffrey's like choking purple body and like, we hate that kid and we're excited to see him dead, and we don't even really like Cersei that much, but like there was something so primal about that moment of Cersei holding Joffrey's body, or of course, Mother, and then like, Catelyn just screaming and being like, I guess I'll slice this neck while I'm grieving.
The Cersei shout out is a great one too, because I think that's a good one to remember the evolution across loss, which is like helpful to have in our minds as we watch Rhaenyra.
Oh, how it hardens into
the different response to Myrcella, and the question of like, is this like the price we pay for our sins?
Yeah.
And then where we find Cersei after Tommen, it is a point of no return.
Emma Darcy said this incredible thing inside the episode about Rhaenyra being robbed of the opportunity to be a mother to protect her son. I just thought this was incredible. And I think when they bring Jace's body in and Rhaenyra is talking to Jace like her child is still alive.
Yeah.
What have you done? How could you do this? Jace, what have you done? Like the way that Emma decided, she could have played it as like, what have you done? Whatever. But like just this like scolding sort of gently scolding tone or whatever. It reminded me a lot of, that's not how it is between this mother and son, but like it reminded me a lot of Romeo and Juliet, the like, oh, churl drunk all and left no friendly drop when Juliet's talking to Romeo as if he's still there. Just sort of like just the inability to accept the reality of what you're confronted with. And we talked on Talk the Thrones about like how horrible it is that Rhaenyra has to go through this experience with an audience.
Yes. And what are we reading on the faces of the people in that room?
Yeah, they're deeply uncomfortable with her response here, which I say get a grip and let this lady like lose her marbles for a second. I think it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Her beloved son, second beloved son is dead,
Two dead sons.
Yeah. And I mean like fuck you, Sir Lawrence, honestly. And
I know.
I will say this.
I know, the gall.
The moment between Bela and Sir Lawrence when he asks how the battle went, she said, "'Tis won."
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually I love that even more than the Corlys line, which is a book line that we were waiting for.
Yeah.
His, if this be victory, I hope I never see another. Like we were waiting for that because that's a book line.
Yeah.
But Bela saying, "'Tis won."
Yeah.
And his response to that really captured that feeling that I had reading that victory line in the book.
I agree. And like, you used the term Pyrrhic victory last week and like this question of what is the cost and can you possibly justify it? The way that this episode and then the show and the dance as a piece of canon overall ask us to think about that like in the inside of one relationship or one family or one household and then kind of at scale and mass. That's like inescapable in moments like this. And I think we often think about it for characters like Rhaenyra or Alicent who are making these big choices. But I agree. It's like really powerful to see a moment like that for a character like Bela and then you pair it with saying to Alan, Bela saying to Alan later, like, we were children together. We talk about they were girls together with Alicent and Rhaenyra, which Mysaria basically directly invokes in this episode. And
someone asked where our writing credit was on that, and I was like, thanks
I
so
was
much.
thinking of you and us weeping and sobbing in the studio talking about that scene together. One of my favorite podcasting memories ever. Slightly less emotion being shared between Daemon and Mysaria, but they have their own sort of They have their own sort of thing
bond.
going, their own special spark.
Yeah.
They'd actually do a great podcast together, Daemon and Mysaria. My God. Can you imagine?
I would like to go back in time 4 years when we first started this and say, when we were discussing Mysaria's accent, in 4 years from now,
I stand by
Mallory
every
will
take.
say, this lady should have a podcast.
I stand by every take. Every single take. It is one of the most shocking parts of rewatching House of the Dragon is confronting Mysaria's season 1 accent. It just bowls you over.
Which accent work bowls you over more? Gabriella in The Vampire Lestat, The Great Conversion, or Mysaria in season 1 of House of the Dragon?
I give Mysaria the edge because Count Chocula is at least a vampire. And so while it is a bit of a puzzling choice, it is a choice inside of a story universe that I understand.
I will give this show credit this. They didn't bury the character Mysaria, even though she was deeply unpopular. They're like, she has things to do. We're going to keep her around.
Yes.
And they took the note and they turned down the volume on the accent. Great stuff.
We are grateful. On the Emma performance front in this stretch, Claire Kilner, a couple lines from the official pod about just how, mesmerizing this performance was, thought were really interesting. Claire Kilner described it as deep from the pit of their gut, which is, poetry, but just that captures something.
That's how you podcast. I've always said deep from the pit of your gut.
It really is.
Yeah.
Via screech and something primal deep from the pit of the gut. And then Sarah has said, there are not that many actors I would write that scene for. And I believe that that's true, actually. Like, you have to have the confidence that something like that can be rendered on screen at this level. And Emma Darcy is capable of that in a way that is unique. I really just, the tracking and the evolution from that, this can't possibly be true denial that you identified into the despair and anguish of just like the mounting loss how can there's no reprieve, there's no escape. How can this keep happening?
2 boys who hid their faces in my skirts.
Devastating, right? Absolutely crushing. And what that forces Rhaenyra to ask about.
And Daemon's like, yada, yada, yada.
It's time to switch to High Valyrian.
We have a throne. We have a throne today.
It's time to switch to High Valyrian. And then the wrath, and that blend of emotions, like when will those things kind of coexist with each other and when will one win the day? This scene, and Rhaenyra goes right back in after the wrath kind of breaks through into going back to Jace's body and scooping him up and cradling him and just sobbing, choking out the despair and the anguish. But that comes after laying in appropriately and rightly to almost every person in.
Yeah, Vale, you too.
That room. Let's see the clip.
All of you who knew what Jaceres had done and stood by. Are your lives too not forfeit? Have you not betrayed your queen?
I mean, submit it to the Emmys now. There's no need to wait.
The way she looks at Mysaria and her sort of body kind of collapses into the sobs of just sort of I can't even hold myself up under the weight of this grief is just incredible stuff.
And also you spend so much time trying to assume the figure of the ruling queen or the warrior. And then we think back to cutting into ribbons, the gown of the ruling queen, like we talked about last week. It's well, what is any of that? First of all, sometimes you can't maintain that image. Sometimes just the raw humanity breaks the dam. But also, Rhaenyra is in a moment right now of asking, what is any of that for? Where has any of that gotten Rhaenyra, right? And I thought, Sir Lauren is an interesting microcosm of a larger circumstance here. I was thinking back to, in season 1, Daemon coming with Sir Stefan and Sir Lauren, and basically making them swear their allegiance, right? With Caraxes there to intimidate, trying to teach Jace a lesson about how it's done. And said to them at the time, if you choose treachery, if you swear fealty now only to turn your cloaks, know that you will die screaming. It's so interesting as Sir Laurent did not go to the Greens. He didn't give Rhaenyra to the enemy. You could argue this is a deeper and more damning betrayal because what it is, and it's these things mount. A loss of a person you can trust, and then the constant diminishment by the people who are supposed to have chosen Rhaenyra and sworn to abide her.
I mean, the Black Council's here. Fuck those guys.
Oh my God, the worst.
Forever.
The worst.
So those guys are here. She's like, fuck you guys. I don't listen to you anymore. Great.
They're useless.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Sir Laurent Mulbrin, when I was like, you're in so much trouble, buddy. And then when he went to grab her, I was like, don't do that.
That was nuts.
I was like, don't do that. Don't touch her.
Second on the power rankings for this episode, still behind Celticar and Girardi's being you can't be serious about going to King's Landing. But yeah, Lauren grabbing Rhaenyra was fucking nuts. We have some notes for Daemon, which we'll get to later on slapping Ulf. Yeah. I do think that Rhaenyra should have slapped Celticar again, as she very satisfyingly did last season.
There's a couple don't fucking touch me moments from the Targs here. But yeah, that was a real don't fucking touch me. Why did he do that? That was so dumb. Maybe he's well, I'm dead anyway, so I might as well.
My life is forfeit. I'm going to make a grand gesture. Kristen was the sworn sword for a while, and that's a different type of loss, right? That's you have shamed me because you didn't want my oranges and cinnamon. And so I have gone to the other side. But then Eric, Cargill Bull, it's the second time it's come up today. Will it be the last? Who can say? Stay tuned to find out.
Is it the moment that turned the tide of the entire war?
It could be. Some are saying sin begets sin is a thing that I have heard and know to be true.
Oh, okay. Brother v. brother. Conflict inside the human heart of twins.
It's the only thing worth writing about. Stefan killed at the kind of first attempt, the rough draft of the sewing. Laurent now, all the counselors are useless. None of them can be relied upon except Mysaria, who is kind of now entwined in this what is going to happen in this relationship?
You're using the worm language now.
Twirling and writhing and
Mysaria,
wriggling.
It's Mysaria and Daemon. She doesn't even have Jace, who was honestly, when you saw her sort of plotting and planning with Daemon gone last season, Jace was quite constantly her counselor. She certainly doesn't want to talk to Bela.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just sort of like Daemon shows up, whispers some High Valyrian sweet nothings into her ears, holds her hand a little bit when they
I loved
go
that.
into
I love that.
claim the throne. Like,
I love the
so
little hand grasp.
in terms of like who is Rhaenyra going to be listening to, who has her ear going forward. I
Yeah.
mean, fuck you, Celtigar. You know, definitely
worst.
not you. Lauren, you can die the way you choose. Like, that's fine.
Incredible moment just while marching out and
Yeah.
not even. It's, let him pick the way he dies.
He gets to choose.
Absolutely loved it.
Dealer choice.
One of the characters that Rhaenyra seems safe to say 2 episodes into season 3, probably not going to be doing a lot of game planning and strategizing with is Rhaena, who has returned
A seamless transition.
with, thank you, Sheepstealer.
When you're tallying up the men in the story who don't listen to women, are you putting Sheepstealer on the list?
Oh, I mean, you have to. At the end of the day, you have to.
Celtigar and
I love Sheepstealer. Just precious. I love that overbite. The design is so impeccable. And I ultimately blame Rhaena for taking Sheepstealer right into battle with no training or confidence that that dragon would be comfortable or responding, which he was not. I gotta say.
Yeah.
I have a lot of notes for Lady Jane Eyre.
None of them are fashion tips, though.
No.
She looks astounding.
Yeah.
I will say this. Sometimes you put stuff on Twitter. Not you because you don't go on Twitter, but sometimes you put stuff on Twitter and you're like, I really hope this does numbers, and it doesn't.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes you just toss up something stupid and Twitter's like, that's the stuff.
Did you have a viral hit recently?
I don't know about viral, but like, but I put up a photo of like Lady Jane Eyre
Yeah.
in this fit.
Yeah.
Where the cape kind of looks like wings and stuff like that.
You love a cape.
And Sweet Robin from
Sure.
the final council in everyone's favorite episode of Game of Thrones, the finale.
Yeah.
They're basically the same exact outfit, same shade of blue, same costume, same color, same, the crest is right here, all this sort of stuff like that. And I just said something about like House Aaron found their look and they just like stuck with it basically the whole time. But I loved her look here. I thought it looked incredible. And Sweet Robin was like, that's the one for me.
Would suckling on a teat for some breast milk have completed the outfit?
You didn't have to bring up the teat, and yet you did.
It's impossible not to if Robin is mentioned.
That's absolutely not true. Here's the thing about Lady Jane Eyre that I think is important to remember.
Yes,
as she's sort of making her political calculations here, 'cause she's quite cold to Rhaena because she's like, you brought some fucking bullshit to my doorstep.
Disaster.
I somehow have gotten a raven that has told me that Sheepstealer is being blamed for Jace's death at the Gullet.
News traveled quickly on this one, gotta say.
I believe that Jane Eyre has the best ravens. Perhaps.
Rhaena flew up there on a dragon.
Yeah, maybe they took who knows where Sheepstealer went before.
That's true.
Sheepstealer's like, I gotta eat 20 different sheep.
That's true.
And then she's like, eventually like, let's go talk to Lady Jane Eyre. Okay. Anyway, talking to Lady Jane Eyre, Jane Eyre's like, this is a political disaster.
Yes.
Here you are. They're blaming you for Jace's death. Ill-advised, I think, for Rhaena to sort of like, because at this point, nobody knew that it was Rhaena. Now Lady Jane knows it was Rhaena on Sheepstealer. So I don't know. That's not information I would want around.
Yeah. Agreed.
But she's like sanctuary, essentially.
Yeah. And
also then Rhaena goes into like, I heard you want a dragon. Vhagar is on the loose. Vhagar's at large.
Yeah.
And in charge. And we do not know where Vhagar is. And you were promised dragons and you got 2 little baby dragons. You've been pissed about it.
You kept complaining about how
You've been really pissed about it. You got 2 tiny little dragons. Guess what?
Yeah.
Now you got Sheepstealer, a dragon I can totally control.
And Lady Jane, who has just received very rapid news about what happened to Jace, is like, okay.
Sounds great.
I don't expect to see you again, but okay. Why does Lady Jane believe that Rhaena can back up this pledge? Well,
I think she just like wants
deterrent.
There's just like a big fuck off dragon in her neighborhood.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's like those signs that say like, we have cameras or there's a big dog.
That's
Beware
right.
dog.
Yeah.
And you don't have a dog.
Maybe you don't have a dog.
Yeah.
But then people are like, I'll just rob the house that doesn't have that sign instead.
I heard there was a dog here. I heard there was a giant unwieldy underbiting dragon in the Vale.
Great stuff.
A reminder about Lady Jane Eyre that she
Yes.
did not become the Lady of the Vale in the Word of the East by marriage, right? She was born and raised an Arryn. So it's just like in her to the bones. Her father and her brothers died fighting when she was young, and she had to imprison her own uncles to protect her claim.
It's tough.
So she's been out here
Yeah, fighting
fighting
to hold on.
her whole life.
And that's part of why, let's give Jace his flowers once more, because this wasn't actually something that we saw on the show. We just heard it recounted. We got to see Jace in the North. We didn't see him in the Vale. But Jace also won that pledge that sent the youngins and Rhaena up in the first place in exchange for the promise of support. Part of the reason...
Some wimpy little dragon.
It doesn't even have Stormcloud anymore because they were sent off and, where are they? We await word. But Joffrey and Taraxi still, I have had to fight to hold this. Some of it is their kin, right? Emma Arryn, Rhaenyra's mother, Viserys's first beloved.
First lady
Emma
to die
Arryn,
screaming in childbirth.
but not the last.
Not the last.
But not the last. And Arryn, right? So there's a more direct tie of kinship there, but also the fact, and this is explored in Fire and Blood, the fact that Lady Jane is a woman who is trying to hold on to her slice of rule.
And she's like, Rhaenyra.
Inclines her to support.
Game recognized.
Yeah, exactly. To support Rhaenyra. So that's an interesting dynamic. I thought that Lady Jane showed real chutzpah riding up to challenge Rhaena with Sheepstealer right there. You could say that's just
riding a horse.
Riding a horse. A horse. You could say it's just reckless and irresponsible and dumb to...
You did just say that.
You could. Some could. But you kind of gotta admire it. I was thinking back to when Rhaena made the pitch. You said that the queen kind of fucked you.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you the thing you really want. First of all, it's fun to think of the history there, too, because even though this pledge was struck with Jace flew in. We think of Bronn. We think of our beloved Bronn. I'll impregnate the bitch, right? Yeah. The Eyrie in the Vale, famously impregnable for men on the ground, for armies on the ground. However, Jace and Vermax flew in from above because Vermax was a dragon, and it, at the time, reminded Jane of our girl Visenya and Vhagar flying in and just rocking little Ronald Arryn on her lap, right, during the conquest to bring the Vale into the fold in the first place. So this idea that the Vale is so assured in its geography, but is still vulnerable to dragons is a fun little bit of that geography.
Here's what I would argue.
Yeah.
Everyone's vulnerable to dragons.
Well, don't tell Alicent that. She got Aemond with a 30-second pitch. It'll be fine there. I was thinking back to Rhaena and Jane in season 2 because those were tense scenes between them, and
Jane was never
not a
warm and welcoming sort.
There
was no lemon cakes, you love lemon cakes moment for Rhaena.
Absolutely none of that. It was all Moondor vibes, just in terms of spirit and disposition the whole time.
Yeah.
But that exchange of the dragons will grow in time. I don't have time. I miss feeling powerless. And Rhaena responded to that. So do I. And that was on my mind watching this in a really striking and sad way for Rhaena. And as we noted, this is new Rhaena canon for us because it's the Nettles swap, as we mentioned last week.
This is the monkey's paw season, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And this idea of okay, I took a source of conflict. Are the dragons too big or small? I made it an opportunity. Interesting, fast thinking. I agree. I would not have revealed that I was the rider to anyone, but still, Rhaena has finally gotten the thing that she wanted more than anything, a dragon. And it's not even just, I can't celebrate. It doesn't feel the way I always thought it would. It's, I can't even go home. I feel like I am isolated and exiled from my family, from my inheritance, from all of it. And that is just such on the feeling powerless front, to finally have a dragon, the thing that should make you feel most powerful and to feel less sure in your footing.
Not just most powerful, but most accepted by your family.
Most valuable, most needed.
Yeah, that Rhaena felt always on the outside, that Bela was on the inside because Bela had a dragon and Rhaena was on the outside and her dad had no time for her.
Yep.
And she finally found the thing that is supposed to she was sent away to babysit because she's useless. And she's like, look at me, I'm useful. Oh no, Jace is dead. Tough.
Brutal. It's brutal. It's sad. But we do have some cheerful songs. It is time to head to a post-Fishfeed musical interlude. And let's just quickly establish, Joanna, you mentioned the bloodiest battle part. The bloodiest land battle, the Dance of the Dragons, began the next day. The Fishfeed, we kind of wondered last week, okay, are we getting fish feed or are we not? Where are you now that we know definitively that the battle is something that is acknowledged, it has happened, we understand that it has transpired, but it was not given to us in full on screen? Does this make sense to you? Does this feel like the right choice because it does not feature that many central characters, even with Daemon added in?
I'm not mad about it, other than like, maybe the visual of all the bodies on the lakeshore would have been cool, but they gave us bodies on the beach at the Gullet instead, and that's fine. And that took a lot of time and looked incredible. I will just say this. There are other battles to come that I would be more upset to lose than this one.
I think that's
if we're bargaining, I can take a song for this battle any day.
I agree. I think like kind of just thinking about the idea that this is the bloodiest land battle, not getting it feels kind of inherently, I think, a little odd, but I'm with you. If that's a choice that's made to really center some things that are yet to come, I'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
Here's the real question, though. Are we fine with the song? Because we get this post-battle song. You're the musical expert, and I need you to take me through. My feeling was Alys with 3 fingers, this was not.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
But then I talked to a friend of the pod, Jenny Own Youngs, and Jenny was like, this is actually my favorite musical moment in all of Game of Thrones. Because I was like, maybe I need to hear like the national or the Hold Steady version of this to like feel more connected to it.
Okay, what was Jenny's case?
Jenny says this: music is of, by, and for the people. And it's nice that they're doing a war camp, drunken, celebratory, very rough around the edges sort of deal. And she compared it to Alys with 3 fingers, like, which is another similar sort of thing. But I think, to my ear, slightly better executed.
Yeah.
We're going back and forth on whether or not this is supposed to be like they came up with the lyrics on the fly sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're kind of performing it as if they are, but then there are moments when everyone's singing the same lyrics together and they're all like very specific to the fish feed. So it's not like...
Right.
Jenny was bringing up this tradition in both like medieval music and like Delta blues and stuff like that of songs that like the lyrics change all the time because you don't have like recorded versions of them. And so you just like have the tune and the rough framework and then you change the music all the time, the words all the time. So she, like an example, she was like, green sleeves becomes what child is this? Like this is this is a thing that happens. So if there is like a standard frame for this is a battle song we sing and they're like red fork, which is the one that they did last week or, whatever, or gullet, if there was like a similar one they did and this is like fish feed.
Yeah.
Again, there are some lyrics that are very specific to the battle that everyone is singing that I have some questions about it. In terms of like tonality.
Yeah.
Beautiful Oscar Tully with his like gorgeous curls that I was wondering if, when Daemon's looking at him when he gets the news about Jace, I was wondering if he was like looking at Oscar, a young man.
And is like, are you ready to step up and Mog? No, we need a new Mog King.
Like thinking about Jace. Because Daemon does not take any time really to really, in our eyes, marinate in the loss of Jace.
No,
and I was just wondering if like that's the one moment where he looks at young Oscar Tully and he's just sort of like these young boys at war with beautiful curly hair. Anyway, Oscar Tully, not the most tuneful singer I've ever heard in my entire life. Matt Smith can sing. Black Alley is here. A character that we're excited to see. She's also singing. Tommy Flanagan is just kind of roaring his way through it.
Seems to be having the time of his
Great
life.
time. But Jenny's point, and I agree, is she was like, in this age of like AI perfection and like you can auto-tune anything into perfection, I kind of like seeing just like rough and rowdy.
Yeah.
And I was reminded, I know I've told you before that I've done this like Red Fair camping thing, SEA. One year, my friend Amy and I made up a song about grilled cheese. We were trying to bully our friends into making us late night grilled cheeses at the campfire, and so we made up a song on the fly about grilled cheese.
Yeah,
and then people just kept adding verse. Like it was like this. Like people just kept adding verses. It's very simple.
Yes,
but you just need to like come up with our rhyming couplet to sort of get there. But I was like, oh yeah, when we built the grilled cheese song, it had harmonies. It had like a refrain, and then people were just adding lyrics to it. Like that is true. And then someone wrote it down and it became like sort of enshrined, but we did create it on the fly. So maybe
is it available on Spotify to stream?
One can only hope.
I did like that capturing the communal spirit of a battle waged and survived together and like working to commit that to history in real time.
The record, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It's just, I think, also fair to say that it will not be a song Well, you know what? I was going to say it not be a song that people will be singing and quoting the way they do the Bear and the Maiden Fair or whatever. And yet, we have spent basically all of the last few days shouting to each other, fish feed, fish feed. So maybe I should fuck right off. Maybe it's a banger.
And hear what the Hold Steady does with it. You know, something to think about. Anyway, I just, I'm mixed about it, but something I was thinking about is like, as they're chanting like fish feed and talking about, you know, all the people who died in the battle, right? Now we can't see the water's floor because the lake's full of their bones, like all of that sort of stuff. With his one good eye, he lacks a prick. Like all of that is very good. What is Jace if not food for fishes? I mean, Vale did fish him out, but like he died in the water. Like, you know, and they're like, yeah, we won this one, fish feed. But like the fish was feeding on their side at a different battle, you know, across the continent. So.
Yeah, I love that. And the kind of hush that falls over the collective when Daemon is, you know, Daemon is the only one reading these words, but right away before he says aloud, the heir to the throne has been killed, they can clock it. They can tell right away that something is wrong. Oscar asks him, is something amiss? And it's...
When we're talking about the growth and evolution of Daemon's character, he did not beat the shit out of the person who brought him the scroll this time, as he did in season 1. Yeah. So, you know.
Progress.
Something to think about.
We're a long way away from the stepstones, but the crab feeder is always in our heart. Yeah, I thought on the, like, does Oscar remind Daemon of, like, is he thinking about Jace and just the young man? I did think, especially because it is, and we love the Daemon Alys scene, so I was delighted to get the scene that the sequence that we're going to talk about next, but it is high comedy that Daemon is like, Jace has been killed.
Yeah.
This massive battle has transpired, and I have been summoned to help Rhaenyra take the Iron Throne. It could not be a more urgent moment. He's like, gotta go check in on Big Al. Hysterical.
You know what else he does? He fixes his hair.
Well, I mean, the braid, the curls.
I love this. This is the wig that I was telling you last week.
Immaculate.
I was like sort of waiting for. It's like this kind of half unraveled braid in the back. I love it. But he does clean it up. Cleans up the edges.
Wow.
And like re-twirls the little like forefront pieces.
If you're checking in with the side piece, you know, you gotta to go talk to. You gotta look sharp. You gotta look sharp. I did like that just moment though, where he's sitting on the log and he just for a second like closes his eyes and kind of takes a breath and lowers his head, and like you can see the grief on his face. For a second
and like
there, is nice.
And Oscar's like right there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting moment.
There's a somberness to it.
Yeah, and Oscar Tully. It's been 2 years. His voice is dropping a wee bit.
I know.
It's not quite there.
I know.
But, you know.
It's increasingly like, because as you know, and I mean, now that Black Alley is here.
Black Alley, we should say for non-book readers, is a character who is proficient in battle.
Yeah,
you will have seen her singing in the Fish Feed song. She's got this sort of like black makeup, black makeup on her face. That's Black Alley Blackwood. But
Alley Blackwood.
Hopefully she'll get to do some fighting as well as the singing, because she's a badass warrior.
I think so. And so of course she's Bloody Ben's aunt, and I never miss an opportunity to mention a young Benjicott, Bloody Ben. And you know, we're assuming that Oscar is just subbing in for him in full.
Benjicott.
Benji's 11. So now that's what made me think of it when you're like, Oscar has like grown up.
Yeah. Benji's
like
11
and he sees all the bodies.
And he cries because there's a lot of bodies.
Which is so good.
Because he's 11 and he's in battle.
He's a wee tot.
But yeah,
Thrones.
Black Alley's here. Oscar Tully's here.
And Daemon says to them to because he's like, I gotta go. I gotta check in with Alice, and then I gotta go. March. Meet me in King's Landing.
Light garrison at Harrenhal.
Light.
Some toasty snacks for Vhagar. Leave it at Harrenhal.
Incredible later when he's lecturing Ulf and Hugh on there's no doubt in his mind that they're all dead.
Oh,
that they are all dead.
Crostini.
And
you know what I mean? For Vhagar.
They are.
And he's like, come on south.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. Do you want to break the map out again?
So they're going south.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Kristen Cole's going north.
Indeed. I liked too, we will be the Queen's fist. Did it make you think of Vader's fist? The 501st?
No, I was wincing again, thinking of Bone Temple.
That's always
Jimmy and his finger.
Temple. Always thinking of
Fingers
Bone Temple.
make the fist.
Great stuff. Alice. We already talked about the most important thing that happens in this scene, which is Caraxes drinking water, so we can move on to the rest. He just looks so cute. He just looks so cute.
I did,
so
and again,
sweet.
it's just they're. I appreciate they're just putting dragons in shots where like a dragon doesn't have to be. You don't have to have Caraxes right there.
You know what they're doing a lot more of after years of Dave Gonzalez and others pointing out that they never did it.
Oh, disembarking. I have noticed.
Tons.
I have noticed, and in the House of Dragon builds, they like showed the rigging of like how they the blue ladder thing.
It works.
I know.
It looks good.
It looks great.
Makes you wonder why
They're
weren't always doing it.
So many disembarkments this season. I've noticed. Shout out, Dave.
Shout out, Dave. I meant to text you guys about that. Let me ask you a question. You have to pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Which of these things would you least like to hear from another person who is standing right next to you saying these things to you about you? I have seen that your coming has been an omen of the end.
Doesn't she say and also or a beginning of something else?
Yes.
Okay, silver lining. Okay, silver lining.
Or go home, Daemon, but do not come back here. Remember what I told you, which was, of course, you will die in this place.
I'm gonna go with omen of the end with a side helping
every cloud
of the beginning of something else.
Every cloud.
A silver lining of death.
I just love the ominous signs and portents and signs in every Alys scene and Alys exchange. It is such a rich
She knows no other way.
text. Daemon's just like us, Joe. He's like, what are you really up to? What's your real purpose been? What do you want? And what does she tell him?
She wants Harrenhal. She wants a castle. You know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so this is something we talked about when we talked about Harrenhal last season.
Yes.
Is there's some like interesting quotes about sort of like what Harrenhal looks like. You talked really interestingly on Talk the Thrones about sort of Alys mentioning the weirwood trees that had been raised in order to build it. It's in the beams. It's, you know, his Daemon's headboard, you know, like just weirwood wood everywhere. But the shape of Harrenhal itself, Jaime says, the towers of Black Heron's Folly appeared at last, 5 twisted fingers of black, misshapen stone grasping for the sky. This idea of Harrenhal as emblematic of like reaching and grasping for something. Baelish, who is like awarded Harrenhal at one point, he's like, fucking great.
Yeah.
Who wants that cursed? I want a haunted fucking castle. No, thank you. He says, Harrenhal has withered every hand to touch it. No, thank you. You know, and so like Harrenhal is this like the castle version of a monkey's paw, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone who grabs it, and Alys says this. She's like, they've all mismanaged it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These dumb dudes don't know what to do with the castle.
They all think they want it.
Yes.
Because it's this prize.
It's so big, but it's so cursed. And so it's like, that's the throne for Rhaenyra. That's the dragon for Rhaena. Like that's what this is. And this is in castle form. That's what Harrenhal is.
I love it.
Spooky.
And then the question is like, would it be different? I don't want it. Oh, John. Would it be different for Alys? Like, is the nature of her mysterious existence and her magic? You know, we mentioned this on Talk the Thrones on Sunday, but Gail Rankin, the performer, you know, telling Entertainment Weekly last year that Alys like could be 400 years old. We have these,
Hot.
I mean, looking great.
Yeah.
Looking great. You made the Melisandre comp that should, of course, be on our minds. You know, who was this woman? We've shared this Fire and Blood quote before. A serving wench who dabbled in potions and spells, says Monk, and a woods witch claimed Septon Eustace, a malign enchantress who bathed in the blood of virgins to preserve her youth. Mushroom, naturally, would have us believe.
I know that people call us cackling witches because of an absolutely iconic 2-star review that we got on iTunes. Malign enchantress is
could be
pretty
us.
hot.
Yeah. Do you prefer from this from this episode to pull that Malign Enchantress out of Fire and Blood, or to just go right to Court of Cunts from Aegon?
I prefer Malign Enchantress. Thank you so much.
We have a split vote here on the panel today.
All right. Well, you can be head of the Court of Cunts, and I can be the Malign Enchantress.
The merch would sell.
But you have to do it in the Court of Mist and Fury, sort of like Court of Thorn and Roses font.
Great. I'm through 3 of the 5 books and a couple pages of book 4.
Sarah J. Maas, don't sue us.
Oh, man. Great stuff. But yeah, like Alys is... I loved your Lorax comp last week, and
She speaks for the trees.
speaking for the trees and this connection to the nature and the people of this place, but just like the magic of it too, that is inextricable from the nature of it. The way that Alys has talked about the creatures and maybe is presenting and manifesting as those creatures, right? But like
You're team goat now, aren't you?
absolutely team good. And it's hard not to be when the character is just like, I'm a barn owl. You know?
And also a goat.
Which would you rather be?
A barn owl. You can fly.
Yeah, it doesn't. Is it fun to be a goat? They are cute.
Well, they're cute and spooky.
You can be milked. Could be nice. Get Aemond in here.
I'm good. Thank you so much.
I saw a really cute video of an owl taking
Getting milked?
taking a bath in a bowl. It was precious. Kind of like washing the tush. It's really cute. That's just my Instagram algorithm. I don't know what to say.
An owl, you like hang out in the forest at night and like scare people and fly around.
Or you could deliver mail. Owl post. You can do that. All of it.
I'm not working if I'm an owl.
You're just chilling.
I'm a
Are you
huntress.
figuring out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
3.
The world may never know.
It's 3.
I do think the fact that because we talked about this as well, but like Larys citing the curse of Harrenhal to Alicent in a very memorable season 1 scene after he has burned his father and brother alive, and that's like interesting too. Like, what choices do people make that they can then pin on the curse? Where do people see the curse acting and guiding when it's the shitty things people do?
My favorite in that umbrella is when Alys last season was like, I'm kind of the maester here. The last maester, I don't know, fled in the night. Really weird. Don't know what happened to him. Could have, maybe I sent him spooky dreams. Who's to say?
Incredible.
Don't know.
And like, we're reminded here when she's like, I secured the 40,000 river troops
By murdering an old man.
By murdering Grover.
Yeah.
In his sick bed.
I slew a Muppet for you.
Tough. Larys had that, like, my dad, thought maybe a maligned enchantress did something to my foot. Sorcery in the mix when I was a baby. So there's all of that. Like, how many things has Alys been doing to try to get these mortal men out? Even like we've been talking about, you did these things for Daemon, you helped him amass this army. Is it just to get that army out of there, right? You told the seeds to go to the gullet. Was it to help?
Or
to
those
get them
dragons
out
of
there so they don't burn your castle, etc. It's all interesting.
But I have to ask.
Yeah, tell me.
Do you think fewer people would have died or fewer walls or arches would have been scorched and crumbled if Vermithor and Silverwing and Seasmoke had taken down Vhagar? I feel like Vhagar did plenty of damage all on her own, you know?
I think it's probably worse if they're all there. Oh. I think that Vhagar at least took out some support beams in a contained fashion. Whereas if the dragons are all thrashing into each other, I mean, especially if fucking Ulf is in the mix. It's, come on. It's absolute chaos.
Not the thought.
But so, Joe, it's not just the question of the magic and what Alys sees there. It's Daemon's response. This is something that we were fascinated by. Carlos, can we see this?
I will speak with her. Perhaps there is some other reward she may extend your way.
Some other reward? I ask for food, and you offer me rubies. For all they're worth, they will never satisfy my hunger.
That spark from Daemon. Oh my God. He's like, it's still working for me, honestly. He did not literally
She hungers.
slap Alys in the face the way he did Ulf, but
we don't give castles to midwives. First of all, put some respect on midwives'
for
names,
real.
by the way. Secondly, fuck you, dude. A midwife. I mean, like,
no
by
name,
the way,
no title, no noble husband.
No, fuck you.
Brutal.
Fuck you, dude. Yeah, I thought this was really good. I think what is really interesting about this episode is the like what has value, right? You offer me rubies.
Yeah.
But, that's not what I want, right?
Alan,
I have nothing to give you now but my name, and yet I count that of more worth than a mountain of gold, right?
Yeah.
And I have gold enough to buy her birth, blah, 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 like talking about like what it is that Aegon wants versus what it is that Larys like can give him, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think all of that is really interesting to me. But
Ulf would love some rubies. He wanted
hungers.
a castle. He's already
also,
pissed.
Here's the deal. inside of this episode, now
Yeah.
we know that Alicent did a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yes.
But if Daemon were to tell the tale of taking King's Landing, he would say, you know what got us the throne? The loyalty of my men, my gold cloaks, who I used to throw some raging parties for, and I let them rape whoever they want, and we gelded people, and it was great. We were bros together. That's team management. That's loyalty.
Right. Yeah.
How's he managing his team these days?
Yeah.
You know, like he's doing a good job with the Rivermen and the Winterwolves. Like he's just scrapping it up with them, and they're going to be like, Daemon, what a guy. Alys is not going to say that.
No.
Hugh and Ulf are not going to say that.
Taking for granted the people who are helping them achieve what they're achieving currently.
And I understand it's different. It's different to be like, I'll be the benevolent boss of the gold cloaks.
Yeah.
Than here are two up jump dragon riders who are, like it's more threatening to him for them to like ask for things and want things because they have dragons. And that's like a different math to him.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm just sort of like, here's the payoff
Yes.
of a lesson.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you're refusing to learn from it.
Yeah, when you see something like the Luther Daemon scene, or even something like Alicent and Rhaenyra and the conversation between Daemon and Mysaria about like, can that still hold this history that they have together? Like putting stock in earning loyalty from somebody and forging a bond that could potentially stand the test of time. The fact that there are like turns and cloak turns or just turns across the divide, across the teams. And inside of the teams, there are all of these like, wait, do you know whether you could trust this person? Are you giving them the thing that they need so that they stick around? It's just like a really interesting place to find these characters. I think with Ulf and Hugh, there's so much nuance because like you could also still say, as we talked about a lot last season in covering the sewing, it's insane to put these people you don't know to give them weapons of mass destruction. You don't know them, and
Ulf
you have given them this power. Ulf especially, right? So Adam is an angel. But it makes it all the more important to say, you have this tool now that we have armed you with. And like, maybe when you ask me a question, me, Daemon, I'll at least like show you the fucking dignity to answer you before just marching upstairs. Rhaenyra doesn't, or when Ulf and Hugh show up so they can all mount their dragons to head to King's Landing, Rhaenyra doesn't even speak to them.
Tough.
Does not even speak to them. So
Tough.
certainly something to track.
You're a great manager. Just want to let you know.
Thanks. There might be some differing opinions among the group, but I appreciate it. It's kind of you to say. Corlys.
Yeah.
He lost everyone on his team.
My name. Sorry.
Alan and Adam searching for their father by sea and by sky. I liked when we got when Moondancer and Bela flew overhead. We got that shot of Alan looking up. It reminded me of Adam looking up when Sea Smoke was passing overhead. You know, the dragons sort of entering the fray for the folks who grew up with the fleet. Bela comes to help. Alan has been shouting his father's name, looking for him, and Bela comes to not only like help with the search, but to just talk to him. And this is an interesting sequence between these two characters. She's like, don't give up, right? People have been doubting whether my grandsire is going to make it through, and we know that that's true. I mean, part of the reason that Aemond was able to go into the fucking throne room and call Lucerys a bastard and challenge Rhaenyra's claim and Luke's claim as heir to Driftmark that publicly is because Corlys was about to drop dead. Everyone thought he was going to die.
I can't believe you've brought up Aemond multiple times on this podcast.
I think that's the third time. That's nuts. What is going on?
No one else remembers.
2 Cargill Bulls and 3 Vaemons. What is happening? My God. I'd like to apologize to you and to everyone.
Here's a question I have. Did Corlys need rescuing? He was basically on the shore and his face was above the waterline and he was just like sort of being like buffeted a bit against the rocks, but was not in like real danger of drowning, it seemed like. I feel like he would have gotten up on his own eventually.
He would have been okay.
Yeah.
Does the fact
Especially
that
since they don't take him directly to a maester, they just take
No,
him
they're
to
hanging
a
out.
log, you know?
Yeah, to a log to sit and reflect and look at his burning legacy.
Yeah.
Does the fact that he was completely fine despite being thrown into the drink in his kit, where are you on Tywin Lannister watch, given that Corlys is A-okay?
I genuinely don't know what to say to you about this.
You think he's dead? You think he's toast?
I just think it's so like we're curious because Tywin doesn't die in the Battle of the Gullet in the book, so we're like, did they just kill this character? We're not sure. can whatever he does in the book be done by someone else?
Yeah.
Or does he have to make a triumphant return? And if he makes a triumphant return, are people going to remember who the hell he is?
Well, let me tell you this. Otto Hightower came back in this episode and we hadn't seen him for 2 calendar years.
But he was a main character on the show for an entire
just brought him
season.
back
That
in.
was never the case for either Jason or Tywin Lannister.
Jason
I feel like
Lannister really wanted to be a
I
main
feel like if
character.
Tywin shows up, people are going to be like, didn't that guy's head
Literally,
go on
who
a
is
pike?
that? Yeah, you're probably you're right.
It's worse because they're twins. I don't know.
And then they'll come to this podcast and we will say he mud wrestled with Lohar.
Don't you remember?
Come on.
Larys mentions him in this episode. Tywin, that fucker, got the
The
triarchy.
legacy lives on. The
Okay.
legacy lives on.
Hashtag Tywin lives. I'll give that to you. Why not?
Hashtag make Solo 2 happen.
I think he's
Hashtag
dead.
Tywin lives.
Let's make a bet
Okay, what
because
should
we
bet?
genuinely don't know.
No, we have no idea. And I would say my confidence is like, So
I mean, I feel similarly.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay, what should we bet?
Let's have the bad babies weigh in. hobbitsanddragons@gmail.com. If you could think of the stake we should make on the life of Tywin Lannister, everyone's favorite and most important character in
Right.
House of the Dragon.
Great. Put it on the board, and then if
The
it maybe
big
pays
Tywin
off in
bet.
season 4, we won't even remember the bet, let alone
Oh my
the
god!
character.
Imagine if Tywin doesn't come back till season 4.
Honestly, seems completely in play to me. It does. There are only 6 episodes left in season 3 now. Season 3 is almost over. It's crazy. The other thing that Bela does, in addition to
If
saying
Jefferson Hall
have hope,
messages you, no insider trading. If you get insider info,
Jefferson, hit me up.
no,
Hit me up. If you're listening, let me know.
No.
No, I would never deceive you. I have no secrets from you.
we loved you in Tenet. Message me.
Oh my god, we loved you in Tenet. Incredible. Bela is also just trying to help Alan understand who Corlys is. And this was nice not only to watch kind of a bond forming between Bela and Alan here, but because Bela does have history. You know, she was Corlys and Rhaenys's ward, right?
Yeah.
These are people she grew up with, her grandparents, a closeness, life in their home.
Yeah.
And the comfort that Bela had in challenging Corlys, but also Bela's ability to reach Corlys, right? Like when Rhaenyra wanted Corlys to be hand, it was Bela who finally is just like, you're Salt and Sea, I'm Fire and Blood.
Yeah.
But let's have a chat about how you're processing all of this and what is the appropriate way to actually
She's
channel
like,
these
I'm
emotions.
Gryffindor. You need a Slitherpuff.
And then she says how tired she is of losing people, which was quite sad. And then later in the episode, but we'll talk about it here, Adam finds Corlys washed up, like you noted, and then the whole family sits together. Corlys, Adam, Alan, and Bela looking out at the ruins of High Tide.
Yeah. And Corlys is like, Alan.
Yeah.
And only Alan.
It's like, Adam, you've got a dragon. You're good.
Alan.
Alan, we've had a lot of conversations about how I failed you, though.
I will give you my Alan. You, my son.
Yeah.
I will give you my name. Adam, you're also here.
Adam smiled, though. He seemed pleased. He seemed pleased with the development.
He's like, by the transitive property, am I included in this deal? I just would have and also you, Adam.
I know it is.
Alan Velaryon sounds great. Adam
Does.
of Hull? Adam Velaryon. Come on.
It says
Make it
that's
happen.
a wonderful surname. You know, they're looking at High Tide, Joe, and we should just say, because I wouldn't be shocked if some people were watching this and they're like, castle looks fine. Certainly a lot of smoke, a plume of smoke, but maybe go check, see if anything survived. We do know from book canon, it's a wrap. Spice Town, the whole town burned. Every member of Corlys's household, of the Velaryon household, hunted down and killed.
Yeah.
We're not
we've
going
entered
back
a
new
there.
phase.
It's over.
For
it's
the
Jover.
family.
It's all over.
It's over. What did you? So when Corlys says, I have nothing to offer you now, but my name, and Alan says, that's all I've ever wanted. I thought it looked like Corlys. It was interesting to think about Corlys's relationship to the idea of the name, right? We've talked about this over the seasons. The history does not remember blood; it remembers names. But to think of simultaneously, the consistency and the variance inside of one idea, Corlys has also centered the name as the thing that matters. But it was about how that name was forged and established through achievement, ambition, wealth, might.
It's all cinders now.
Yeah, and so the idea that just the I have chosen you and brought you in could be the part of the name that mattered.
As we watch Otto die.
Lesson learned.
As we watch Otto die.
Yeah.
This episode. We should consider Corlys' hand in all of this as well, because Corlys' ambition of getting his kin on the throne has played a role in all of this, right? So he's like, we'll marry Laenor to Rhaenyra, Rhaena to Daemon. You know, I will pretend that Jace and Joffrey and Luke are my grandchildren. So, you know, a Valyrian will sit on the throne, even though we renegotiated the name or whatever. But like, one of my kin is going to sit on the throne. Jace is going to sit on the throne. Right. Guess what? He's going to marry Bela. Yep. Bela's also my kin. Yep. You know, I'm just going to get all kinds of Valyrian blood on the throne. That is very important to me. Those paths to the throne are not, you know, Joff's still here, but, you know, no one knows that Joff's around. But like, also Bela, does Bela seem suitably heartbroken that Jace is dead?
I think
given that we never saw them smooch and they never really seemed like in love, they just really seemed like gray pals. I don't know. Yeah. But also
colleagues.
Also, her path to the throne. She was supposed to be queen. Yeah. And now she's not going to be queen. She doesn't really seem to care.
I thought that Bela seemed to be carrying the weight of just the family's circumstance and the fact that all of these terrible things happen to everybody around them all the time, and how devastating it is. How tired she is of losing people.
She has to do all of the emotional labor in this scene. She's like, let me explain Corlys to you. Yes. I, the woman, will explain to these men why they are so emotionally constipated around each other. Yeah. Not you, Adam. You're perfect.
Adam is perfect. I love the Corlys point that you made, and I think it's interesting too because Rhaenys, when Rhaenys was around, did a consistently excellent job of pointing that out to him, right? Of calling him out on his complicity in what had befallen their family, and he, I think. You know, Otto has some evolution, you know, the dinner before the three strong boys toast really sent it all to shit. Otto had a little bit of like a smile and a nod where even with Otto, you thought for a moment, could he find his way to accepting this? But mostly, I think we could say that Corlys has inched toward progress in a way that Otto can't claim to have, even though they both have that. You know, and it's of course that parallel is tantalizing given their hatred for each other, right? You know, one of the things that really united Corlys and Daemon back in the day, in the Stepstones days, was despising Otto. So all of these characters, the fact that they have certain parallels in their behaviors and their tendencies makes the fact that they despise each other all the richer ultimately. It's just going to be interesting to see where Corlys goes moving forward.
I hope Corlys has a really good day when he finds out Otto's dead. You know?
Me too. I hope he fucking loves it. You know, Daemon is thrilled. We should just note that in Game of Thrones, you know, as we've seen,
we don't have to guess. Daemon's like, well.
Ooh, turning on each other like spiders. He's loving every
Daemon's just
second
like,
of it.
The rats are uncommon big.
Yes, uncommon big. Incredible, by the way, that like Orwell managed to buy even a minute by saying, go down to the black cells where you definitely could have just gone on your own anyway, and there you will find Jasper Wilde, but whatever, they're all making it work.
I felt like Matt Smith had a real, like, the 11th Doctor making an entrance tone to his voice when he's like, the rats are uncommon big. You know, it's just like the Doctor swanning into some sort of, like, you know, alien fracas and just being like, well, this weird thing I said, you know.
Could have just fixed his bow tie and we would have been right there. You know, look, he's ultimately doing what he finally doing what he pledged and helping Rhaenyra, but he's still Daemon. He wants to be the center of things. He can't help himself. He's a showboat.
He didn't make his own crown this time.
Exactly. Oh, I loved that crown. I really did love that crown. That was a great one. The short hair too. That was fun. We've really seen some amazing Daemon hair over the years. It's wonderful.
Speaking of blood hair.
So legitimizing a bastard requires, we should just say, royal decree. We know this from Game of Thrones. We've seen this, right? Think of like Ramsay Snow becoming Ramsay Bolton, appealing to the ruling authority to push that through. Or when Stannis, who thought he was king, was like, Jon Snow, would you like to be Jon Stark?
Or Jon Targ. Listen, I don't know the answer to this. So it's Adam and Alan of Hull.
Yeah.
If Corlys recognizes them, then they get to have their like fun geographical bastard names. Mm-hmm. What is it around that region, would you say?
Oh, interesting. Because like Driftmark doesn't have its own.
Yeah.
I guess they're in the Crownlands, right?
Okay.
I guess. So they're going to stick with just of Hull, I guess. Okay.
Because the Crownlands doesn't have a fun one.
Let's see. Let's go through them all. So we've got
Gendry Rivers, Edric Storm,
Rivers, Water, Flower, Pike, Snow, Sand.
Alaria. Snow, sand, storm, flowers, hill,
Hill.
stone,
Stone.
rivers, waters, pike.
Hillstone. Yeah. So they'd have to be waters. 'Cause of
Waters.
the Crownlands. Yeah.
Okay. That was Gendry. Yeah, it was
They-
Gendry waters, right?
Didn't they fuck up Gendry?
Maybe.
Because it's great stuff.
Anyway,
Gendry. Of Hall is a great one. It's a great one.
of Hull, Adam
Valerian.
Waters, Alan Waters.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Pretty good. Not as sick as Valerian would be.
Valerian would be pretty cool.
Speaking of sick, I can't believe how good the Aegon and Larys stuff is. I mean, I can, but I can't. And I'm wondering if you think it's possible to just pull, since I don't think anyone would call House of the Dragon a comedy, just these scenes and bundle them and nominate the Aegon and Larys show for best comedy, just so that they have the honor of finishing as a runner-up to Widow's Bay at the Emmys. What do you think? What do you think? Can we make it happen?
I think I'm mistaken. I was surprised. Was like an incredible line delivery from our
Unbelievable.
guy, Matthew Needham. Just like really, really good. Like, and him refreshing us all. Tylen got the triarchy. That's what's going on here. I mean, I just thought it was really well done. Also, the Raven cart, the rookery, and them sort of talking in the behind the scenes about how like this is how ravens get back to, which is very strange to me. This is how ravens get back to where they started. I'm like, don't homing pigeons just like go home?
Yeah.
You got to cart a raven around?
Doesn't make a lot. It seems inefficient.
Lazy.
Real inefficiency. Yeah, is that like the refractory period? They need to like some R&R. This is like their sauna and like cold plunge.
What's
while
wrong
they're
with the
healing after
refractory
a long-
period of the
a long
ravens?
flight? I don't know. I know we already talked about gloating fucking court of cunts, which was iconic and hysterical, but it wasn't the funniest moment of this scene, and I think that requires a clip. It's the scream. It's the screaming and the wailing in pain.
I think it's Larys booping the guy on the head with the cage. I thought that was really funny.
Incredible. This is just
I guess this was
hysterical.
I guess this was Tom Glencarney's idea
Oh my
for
God.
him to go ham
the
on the
shiv?
guy with
Yeah.
the arrow. But yeah, I thought it was Larys booping the guy on the head with the cage. I thought that was
really good. What I loved about the Aegon shivving is there's a way to read it as oh, it feels good. Back in the thick of it, back in the fight, the cry of battle. But I think given the standing, do you or do you not need milk of the poppy because of your debilitating anguish through line? I like to think that he is just forcing himself to shiv this guy, but is so bowled over by the pain that he can't help but cry out. Really amusing. Joe.
Yes.
They managed to escape. As you noted on Talk the Thrones, the fun kind of element of this, the wrinkle of, his brother, Aemond, who wants him dead, is the one who secured the triarchy, who have come across this wagon and thus facilitated the escape. And also the fact that Team Black, quote unquote, another like, what does a victory really mean if all of these things happen, some of which you see and some of which you don't, unknowingly lose the usurper who actually was back in their snare, was back in their grasp. Great stuff, because the foe, they pushed ashore.
Yeah.
But they have different ideas amid escape here about where to go. Larys, they were on the path to Duskendale. The Staunton men were going to take them to Duskendale, nearest port, and then ship them to Dragonstone. And Larys is like, I've got the satchel, I've got the gold. Let's get to the forest for cover. We still can go to Duskendale. Aegon wants to head further north, further up the coast, to Rook's Rest, where, as he notes, Cole has left a garrison from the Battle of Rook's Rest that
long in the dying.
Aegon believes will be loyal to him. And then, yes, this is where Sunfire, his beloved dragon, was, to quote Kristen Cole.
Long in the dying.
Long in the dying. Chris noted this on Talk the Thrones. Larys' whole plan is let's escape and wait and bide our time.
Yeah.
Aegon's actions here are not the actions of a character who is content to wait in the wings for long.
Right.
Duskendale, Rook's Rest, whichever. It's just due east to Dragonstone, and they're still pretty close to King's Landing. They have not escaped the kind of thick of the character set in the action here.
Yeah.
Alicent. We're going to do all the Alicent machinations and maneuverings in one stretch here because these are kind of
Right.
like stretched across the episode. We go in and out of different Alicent scenes, but we're going to hit them all here at once. So she watches Vhagar and Aemond fly away, right?
Mhm.
She's like, time to go.
She's like, I did it.
Time to move.
Yeah.
First up, Dix aplenty has to go down to find Sir Luther Largent and the City Watch.
Yeah.
The risk that Alicent is taking scene after scene here. You know, we talked last week about how bold it was to write that letter to Ormond, right? She's having this conversation with Luther, but every person sees that she's there. Inside of this episode, Rickard
Finds out
spills
to
to
Jasper.
Jasper. So there's
Rickard.
real danger here in terms of like who has clocked what Alicent is
Mhm.
doing and could reveal it. I think, frankly, in a way that there's this rich element with what's happening with Alicent and like what is chronicled in Fire and Blood and what isn't, as we've talked about for seasons now. Where on the one hand, the kind of gall of like, okay, this is presented to us in the text when Luther turns the cloak as
Because
as
of
you noted
Daemon.
earlier, the bond with Daemon, which he does say here as well. And maybe without that, Alicent wouldn't have been able to convince him. But Alicent's role on that is not recorded to history, right?
Oh yeah, completely erased.
Erased. It's actually like in Fire and Blood, I believe that sequence with the gold cloaks is like described as unbeknownst to Alicent, right? So there's that. But the flip side of it
And
is
she's like, let's get a council of men,
I
Rhaenyra,
know.
and have a new
The
vote.
Great Council went fine last time. Everything was fine. Look where we are. Did you have any? Was there any moment for you in this episode, this sequence of going to appeal to the High Tower soldiers at the Scorpions, where you were like, it becomes implausible that at no point in Fire and Blood or in the histories it's anyone like?
Oh, no.
And actually, Alicent Hightower had a hand in
I
this.
feel
or no?
like the work of women
Yeah.
often gets ignored.
Overlooked.
You know?
Yep.
And if they're like, I don't know, the woo-woo vegetarian queen said no beast should be harmed, you know, like Helena was up here. I don't know. When we meet Helena, right?
Helena.
She's in the gardens,
That's right.
doing her bug stuff with her bug journal.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out. What's really fun is like I believe I'm right about this, that this is another connection to Claire Kilner's episode We Light the Way, because that's when Larys finds Alicent in the garden and they're talking about like the flowers, stuff like that. She's still wearing red. She hasn't switched to green yet.
Right.
So I believe
Yep.
that's in We Light the Way.
Yes.
And that's when Larys is just sort of like
Mhm.
starting to drip poison into her mind. And
Yeah.
it's a big moment of she's already queen at that point. You know, so it's not quite when she talks to Helena about being happier before she was queen.
Right.
So it's not quite Alicent in the garden
Yeah.
with Rhaenyra before she was queen.
Yes,
There's
yeah.
that innocence layer.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like Alicent in the garden when she was still like mostly well-meaning and trying to like build bridges with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And Larys, you know, just the snake in the Garden of Eden, just sort of like making problems for everyone, you know? And
It's-
so to find Helena there in the garden in her
Yeah.
like innocent state, I thought was
I
like a
love
really
that.
nice location for Claire
Yeah.
Kilner to return to.
I love that. That's a great shot because I was thinking of all those Alicent Rhaenyra moments when they were young and what a central location this was for them. But the Larys one is really interesting too because like if I recall, he's talking about like the flower that's
Yeah.
out of place,
Mhm.
right? And so then you have the comp here of,
Helena
like
being
the bug
bugs
and,
out
like,
of
it's not the
season.
season and
Yeah.
these elements, like something that feels off in the natural order because of what these people are doing.
Did you take that to mean a lot of the viewers took that to mean that like this was an inside joke about the fact that this episode doesn't belong in this season of television?
Well, I think given that we also then after that glimpse, you can freeze frame on the
journal.
book, the journal that Alicent picks up, which has a drawing of a butterfly. And this quote, "The lines are distinct as if drawn with quill. They are said to cause death to people around them while living, but so far I remain alive." I think difficult not to think of the George R.R. Martin infamous blog post, "Beware the butterflies."
This hadn't occurred to me. I think this is a really fun interpretation.
I mean, who knows? But
It would be
So,
really fun if
maybe it's wink upon wink in this sequence.
via production design, Ryan Condal has taken his like return parry at George R. R. Martin. Elysium
man.
of Noth is the name of the butterfly.
That's a
there.
sick name.
Elysium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Woo! Helena rules. That's just my take.
Her bug journal is great.
The bug journal's great. The "I'd like to raise chickens" is great. The "no beast shall be harmed" and the sweet little facial expression, wonderful. But
no
also,
beast. Oh
like-
my god, no beast shall be harmed.
Yeah.
Fia, who plays Helena, is so funny because she has this great like, I'm pretending to be exactly who I am,
Mhm.
which is I donate to PETA. I'm vegetarian,
Yeah.
blah,
Yeah.
blah. But then she like gives this look to her mom like, I did it.
Nailed it.
I crushed that.
Nailed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I loved that. I thought that was so charming and so good. And I like, too, that Helena in this stretch is, like, asking some hard questions, right? I mean, we talk a lot about Helena's dreams and visions and prophecies and, like, what has she seen in that and what hasn't she? So just the way that she was, like, seemed surprised by what Alicent was saying about Rhaenyra's on her way, and then the line of questioning about, like, wait, but, like, you did this, remember? You made Aegon king. Like, you did this. That whole stretch, like, it's not just the cute little goofy moments. She was asking some hard-hitting questions here in a way that I appreciated and trying to piece together her own tapestry of understanding of, like, what has happened and how.
A tapestry of understanding.
I just love Helena.
Do you think that Daemon, now that he and Helena are in the same place, is going to be like, hey, remember when you were my dream last season?
I hope he asks about it.
That was weird.
That would be great.
Should we talk about it?
I hope it comes up.
You were in my dream.
I hope it comes up. And then the next thing he'd say would be, and really weird things happen in my dream.
So was my mom.
Yeah. You showing up from across space and time in my dream didn't even crack the top 5. Didn't even crack the top 5.
Did you see that hot naked woman with 3 CGI baby dragons?
Did you hear the clip clop of the green man?
Yeah.
Daemon's the best. What did you make of Alicent saying to Helena, because she says her daughter's happiness, right? That Helena's saying she was happier before she was queen, cut her deep. And she wants her child to be happy. And this is like heartening and beautiful for a couple reasons. One, nobody ever gave a shit about doing that for Alicent. That is not a gift her father ever gave her. Quite the opposite, right? But also this contrast of Alicent making a decision, I am going to try to protect and preserve the people I love and not think about the greater picture.
Conditionally.
When Rhaenyra, conditionally for sure, but Rhaenyra is kind of having to
The females
assess
that I
the
love.
others. Yes. The other side of that calculus is interesting. But then I thought the language of you I may yet redeem was really interesting because that is about Helena, but it's also about Alicent. It's about this absolution for being a bad mom.
It's definitely about Alicent. She's like, Aegon sucks.
Yeah.
Aemond sucks. He kissed me. That sucks.
That was tough. I had to ask Gawain if Darren
I
is
hear
nice.
Darren's great. I hear he's great.
But I had to ask because I don't know.
For being far away from me. Also, and we talked about this before, but if Alicent is ready to give up Aegon, that means she's ready to give up Aemond and Darren as well.
Yeah.
Tough beat for Darren, who, as far as you know, never did anything wrong in his life.
Plays a beautiful instrument.
A sweet boy.
Sweet
and
boy.
She's like, well,
16.
He's not Helena or Jaehaera, so I don't care.
This remains kind of my one note on the end of this episode, which I thought was broadly exquisite and wonderful and sets us forward in a remarkable way, is the looks that passed between them were charged and electric, and I thought just the performances were incredible. I want to boot up the next episode the second that ends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a plausible version of this where Alicent believes that Otto doesn't also have to die just because the deal was a son for a son. Otto can't make it. I think
she thought he was already dead. He's just been missing for 2 years. No,
long
for
time.
many, many episodes.
Yes.
So I don't think, we'll see what that fallout is. I think it's a horrifying thing to walk in on.
Yes.
But I don't think she could be like, how dare you kill my father? I don't think that's
we're in
vibe.
We're in agreement because I think there has been a reception a little bit. I have seen some many people are saying Alicent is going to be so mad that Rhaenyra killed Otto they agreed to a son for son. I don't think that's not how our read. It's more like I think she's
like a son for a son and also my other sons.
A few sons for a son.
And anyone else
you need. Sons for a son.
Anyone wearing green. Throw her under the bus.
Anyone who's not
except Helena and Jaehaera
hiding under these clearly recognizable and discernible as ours robes. Alicent and Daemon have not always gotten along, but Alicent really could have taken a tip from Daemon, Mr. Murdercloak, about how to evade immediate detection.
Even Kristen
here.
Cole's stupid hat would have helped in this situation. Here's my note.
What a thing to say.
Here's my note.
What a thing to say.
I know, you talking about Mysaria's accent glowingly and me talking about Kristen Cole's hat. Helena, I know that she doesn't want to ride her dragon, Dreamfire, but she has a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
So, could she and Alicent not have hop, skipped, and jumped onto Dreamfire and flown off into the Great Blue Yonder?
So they would have to get to the dragon pit.
You can't be like, Dreamfire!
The dreamy. 2 weeks in a row now that we have suggested, why doesn't the character just call this dragon to their window and fly away? And
I think sort of like telepathically linked. I think so.
it's at least worth a try.
Yeah.
It's at least worth a try.
Yeah.
Dreamy. Oh,
Or
sweet
once they're
Dreamfire.
apprehended, Dreamfire, burn all these people. We got to go. Except
Yeah.
Helena wouldn't do that.
No.
She's a peaceful creature.
Yeah. No beasts harmed, but there was once a beast beneath the board and a lot of small folk were harmed and everyone seemed fine with that. So
Just
Oh.
smooshed.
Joe, speaking of harming the legions
Yeah.
and or by legions, very small garrison left behind. Aemond taken Harrenhal at a cost. Kristen and Gawain finally see Vhagar fly overhead. That's the only scene we get with our
And
best
they say,
beloveds. And they're like,
"Due
on
north."
to Harrenhal, finally at last.
Due north.
Aemond lands on Vhagar, and we have seen, I mean, obviously we have the history and the canon of Aegon the Conqueror, Balerion, and these mythical moments, but we've, in just this show, seen Daemon land on Caraxes and Rhaenyra fly in on Syrax. So we have other dragon arrivals, obviously, you know, the seeds have been there as well. The scale of Vhagar.
Claire Kilner said King Kong,
She's
going for King
holy
Kong.
Shit. It was effectively rendered
which
here.
is funny because Godzilla's right there. But sure,
I know.
King Kong.
I know.
Interesting.
Godzilla is right there with Vhagar.
Yeah, this is incredible. Watching, we had talked about this in the trailer, but watching Aemond like stalk into the castle, very similar shaped to Daemon, and
Yes.
to remind folks that in one of his dreams where he is not fucking his mom, Daemon dreamt of Aemond
That's right.
in the castle, was following him, and then he turns around and oops, it's just Daemon himself because Daemon's like, wow, I've read the books. We're foils of each other. Anyway, so Aemond comes in and in his armor, his sick armor that they had like a really great feature talking about how they fashioned this armor, his like one-eyed
That was cool.
helm.
The like, well, he might as well have the extra
Yeah.
protection because he doesn't need to see out of
Yeah,
that. That was a neat
really
detail.
cool.
Yeah.
Kills a bunch of people. Something that I saw people talking about is many people are saying, so he's got the Valyrian seal stored, right?
Yeah, Blackfire, yeah.
It's called Blackfire.
Yep.
Not as cool as Orphan Maker, but it'll do.
Orphan Maker! Rah!
He's got the cat's paw dagger, and we talked about this in the trailer watch, right? That we saw
Yeah.
that he had the cat's paw dagger. That's double Valyrian steel.
Sure. Yeah.
No one that we've ever seen has ever done double Valyrian steel, right?
I mean, Viserys just to kind of sit around.
A walking stick and a belt ornament does not count. Like, no.
Yeah, just using it to accessorize. Wait till you see the ripples in the light.
Fighting with double Valyrian steel.
sick.
Sick. And then also,
Yeah.
let's put some respect on Simon Strong and the various other Strongs who die here.
Yeah.
Who's been killed by the cat's paw dagger?
Night King.
Baelish.
Spoiler.
The Night King, Peter Baelish,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Simon Strong.
Good company. Hey, Carlos, can we get a side to side of Simon Strong on the Daemon and Aemond mirror front? How he received both of his unwelcome guests? This poor fucker. He just wants to eat in peace. He's like, stop. Can you guys just stop charging
trying
into my dining room?
To eat some goose.
My God. So Daemon, it's like, I don't really trust that you're not trying to poison me, but he sits
He does
and he
sit.
treats.
Yeah.
Not Aemond. But we like to talk about the mirrors, and we also have a nice side-by-side of just their armor as they arrive to Harrenhal. Carlos is crushing it with the visual aids here. Aemond, the mirrors of the landing, the dragon, the cutting down. You know, Alys has that great line to Daemon in season 2. It's a touch late to be talking about a strange castle putting its people to the sword. There's the Alys encounter. The difference of what happens when they meet Simon Strong and his kin, though, is quite notable because Daemon doesn't trust that he's not going to be poisoned, but he does sit and he treats, right? And he engages in, to the best extent that he can, diplomacy. Now, I wouldn't say he thrives on that front, but he doesn't just immediately start cutting them down.
The bar is in hell and Aemond did not clear it.
Correct.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
He limboed under that bar and killed Simon Strong and a couple other strong boys, not before one of the strong boys got a shiv in him. And we should say, and we said this on Talk the Thrones, but like in this passage in Fire and Blood, part of the reason why Aemond kills Simon Strong and the rest of the Strong household is his history with people with that surname,
Right.
meaning Jace and Joffrey and Luke and all of them, the strong boys.
Can't wait to end the strong family line here. And there's also just the fact that Simon greets him warmly and is like, all right, we didn't expect you, but come sit, welcome. It actually, for Aemond, just reinforces that Simon turned the castle over too easily to Daemon.
Flipping and flopping.
He's like, you're done.
He's trying to pull a Larys, which is like, no matter who invades, I'm ready to welcome them. Alys also ready to welcome, sort of, seemingly.
Yeah.
But I like that one of our favorite things about Alys greeting Daemon is that everyone is kneeling and Alys just walks in and her knees are like, my knees don't bend.
Yeah.
Not for you, sir. No, she does not bend the knee for him. And then we see her just sort of looming over Aemond here. And we were asking Chris what he thought that exchange looked like. I'm just excited to see it play out. But here they are, Aemond and Alys in Harrenhal.
Yeah.
With the mortal wound.
And that wound, that stabbing is a show choice. This is a new little element here. And I thought it was a great choice, both to have Aemond, who, is this fearsome fabled warrior who rides the biggest dragon and actually finally puts on armor for once, still, just because of the hubris that waylays all of these characters, get caught by a guy who's no fighter at all. Incredible detail and an incredible touch. Good job, guy. You died anyway. A lot of death via cheek jaw wound in this season so far. That's a signature hot D move so far.
You know who else died that way?
Who?
Aemond.
Well, that's the whole fucking head gift. The prosthetic having the tongue
the
still
tongue
was just an all-time bit of prosthetic.
I just thought I would bring up our favorite character, Aemond.
Fourth time. Is it four? I believe it's 4. Vegas did not have that one on the board, folks. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And then, the kind of helpless aspect of being prone at Alys's feet as he's bleeding out, but also those vulnerable visuals we have of Aemond are him naked curled up with Sylvie drinking the mother's milk. So this was just great. Really, really exciting to see.
How old is Alys?
Could be 400 years.
Could be 400 years old.
Well,
what's that going to do to a guy with a mommy complex? Tune in to find out. The milfiest of all milfs.
Oh my God.
Alys.
Jesus. Talk about something to put on the merch. I love it. Mysaria. Daemon. The seeds. Daemon is back. He has flown to Dragonstone, and
after chatting with Alys. After redoing his hair.
After participating in the battles that he's not there for in the book, he's, this is all this little show update here for our guy, Matt Smith. It's all working. And we already talked about this exchange with these guys, but he's just like, guys, it was 2 days. Ulf and Hugh. He just lays into them. There's the slap, which we talked about, but the withering rebuke. I was unaware that Her Grace the Queen had required of you in this moment or any other your thoughts. I mean, this could not be more
really tough.
Condescending or
really
more
tough.
of a diminishment. This is fucking
really tough.
Brutal. And they did fuck up. But is this the way to navigate it? Probably not, Daemon.
What would you have done? Would you have said Ulf does not want to be there?
Yeah.
He's like, camping sucks. I don't want to be here, right? If you're Hugh and Adam, especially if you're Adam, are you just I'll stay here. You go find out what the queen wants us to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hugh and Adam had stayed there, you don't want to be caught alone with Vhagar, for sure.
No, for sure. Yeah.
But go find out what we're supposed to do.
Or send a message.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Adam's I got to go to the Gullet and just sit out this entire King's Landing invasion.
Incredible moment that when Ulf here is Adam left too.
Adam left too. My guy, Tom Bennett. So good.
Oh, amazing. And then he finds Mysaria. Daemon finds Mysaria.
Sure does. I loved your comment on Talk of the Thrones about the shot of the two of them looking like a painting. When they're sitting
buddy.
On that bench together.
I just love that framing in the distance in the arch.
And then
the unknowable figures of
he's
history.
in the dark armor, she's in the light dress, and their hair, it's just this real yin yang sort of. Yeah. I love that. I went back and looked at it after you said that. I just really love it. Last time I said that, someone did paint that. So never mind. I'm not asking anyone to paint something, but that would be a cool painting to have.
Paint it.
Mysaria and Daemon at the end of a hallway.
Yeah. That would be great. Or
I don't think they've even made the meme yet that you asked for. So I don't know if painting is happening.
Yeah, babies, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Take me through this exchange between Daemon and Mysaria and all of the different aspects of their history with each other, with Rhaenyra's history with Alicent. So many elements of this were called upon here in this exchange.
I guess I'll sum it up with a tweet I saw, which is like that feeling when your husband and your side piece talk about you getting back together with your situationship.
That covers it, I think.
Yeah. So Daemon and Mysaria used to fuck.
Yes.
Daemon and Rhaenyra have certainly fucked aplenty.
Mhm.
Mysaria and Rhaenyra smooched.
That's
Did they
right.
do more than that? Could be. Who
Even if it's just the smooch,
knows?
Daemon has clocked the vibe.
Sexual tension.
Clocked it.
But more than anything, more than like the sort of tangled sexual web we're weaving here.
Yeah.
Which plenty of people would also include Alicent and Rhaenyra's vibes inside of
For
that.
sure. Yeah.
What we're doing right now is we're jockeying for who's got like prime placement in Rhaenyra's ear. Who's got the most influence on her.
Right.
Mysaria getting a little sweaty with her, like, hey, remember who was loyal to you?
I hope you send for me.
Here's the crown. You're gonna need it. And Daemon's like, girl, come on. That was a little needy. But
oh, man.
they're both
Yeah.
worried about Alicent.
Mhm.
And they both are House of R listeners. And they're like, did you hear? They were girls together.
They were girls together. I like that even they can find common ground and it's not trusting Alicent.
Yeah.
I like with Daemon. I really love with Daemon. I mean, he's our shared. He actually is our shared favorite character, right? He's a high on the list. There are a lot. We love.
It's tough
He's up
because
there.
Matt's, I don't know. Like, who's my favorite character on House of the Dragon?
It's really hard.
Do I have to pick someone I want to like root for, or do I have to
No,
pick some? No, I
definitely
don't.
not.
Obviously, I don't.
Yeah.
I
Just
actually,
someone you like to watch.
I genuinely think it's Larys.
So I'm
I'm sorry.
It's not
I
Daemon.
can-
It's not the Cardinals.
I can only be myself. It's either Larys or Alys. Like that's where I am.
It's the truest version of you,
Yeah.
and we are lucky to be here to
A
witness
witch
it and
or a
receive it.
schemer. I really think those two are.
Which stuff go?
I do love Daemon in this episode, and I think it's interesting. Once again, my fave History of Westeros podcast. Like Aziz was dropping those like quotes about Daemon from the text that are just about like sort of like the way in which he was both admired and reviled in the kingdom, and how you get sort of the full scope of him inside of this episode. That this is like an incredible Emma Rhaenyra episode,
Yes.
but is a really good Daemon episode too, and especially
It
for
is.
like. When Emma and Matt talk about season 2, Emma Darcy talked about being in the throne room. This is the bloody walk to the throne is the first thing they filmed coming back to season 2.
Mm.
And Emma was like there was something about being back on the set of the Red Keep.
Yeah.
I really felt like I was back in the heart of the show, that I'd been off on like Dragonstone Island for so long. And Matt Smith has said, I would say some less diplomatic things about like finally back with some actors
Yeah.
and I'm just like, Gail Rankin rules. Like
Yeah.
you got to share,
But
like,
didn't love being at
but he was
Harrenhal for
out
the
on
entire
Harrenhal
season.
Island, so they're like sort of like back in the heart of the story,
Yeah.
the two of them. And this is just like an incredible showcase for both of them.
It really
you know?
is. And I loved the quality of the performance, but also just these like subtle beats that show us when characters are kind of like Great Gatsby, boats borne back ceaselessly into the past, like the current just pushes them into their old tendencies.
Careless.
And when we
would you say
actually-
that Rhaenyra and Daemon are careless,
Oh, I
like Tom and
was.
Daisy?
I-
They smash things.
I would. And when do we
Is the
actually
throne
see
the green light?
progress?
What's
It-
happening?
It might be
Wow.
Fitzgerald, like the Bard. Welcome here on a House of R episode.
West Egg, Dragon Egg, it's all the same thing.
Kind of. I mentioned earlier, like Rhaenys having to explain to Daemon at the beginning of season 2 what it would be like for a mother to grieve in this way, and he was like, "The queen is shirking her duties." It's the opposite here. One of the things Mysaria questions is like, "Are you questioning Rhaenyra?" And he's like, "No, actually, I'm questioning you. I'm questioning them." Little things like that.
He's like, but I've seen the light.
"It's like I still have notes.
I had a vision.
I had a vision, and there was a blonde chick with dragons at her breasts. I'd love to tell you about it. Don't ask what else I dream of. Don't ask what else I see."
He's like, I've seen season 1 of Game of Thrones. Sensation. Everyone's gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Oh my god, season 1, really good. He'd be right.
He was right.
When Mysaria was like briefly his prisoner, as she recalls here at the beginning of season 2.
They fucked and also he imprisoned her.
That was tough.
Not everything's about you, Daemon.
Not everything's about you, Daemon. The Jacob Ben. What about you?
What about you?
What about you? Oh, it's tough. What hurts more, that or the Don
That's a
Draper?
Lost reference.
I don't think about you at all. They're both so fucking brutal. But Daemon was like,
I think what about
yeah.
this is sorry to
No.
keep talking about Thrones Twitter, but it's really like doing it for me. Someone pointed out that Rhaenyra has not like seen or mentioned Kristen Cole since the whole oranges and cinnamon conversation. That can't quite be true, but like since like for a while.
Yeah. Whereas he is
Where he's
like,
just
"You're a
constantly like
cunt
that
and a
bitch,
spider. And
that
a-
fucking bitch Rhaenyra, and she's just like, who?
I've
Kristen
moved on.
Whomst?
I've moved on.
Kristen, huh?
No. So he's Cyril and she's Cassian.
Who are you? He's Ginsburg and she's Don Draper. I don't think about you at all.
It's so good. Put those two in an elevator. Stat. Mysaria is truthful when she says, because Daemon's like, do you trust the queen's judgment, right? And she's like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And I think we did see enough in season 2 to understand that Mysaria chose to stand by Rhaenyra, like, for a valid reason, that you are steadfast, right? And, like, what would Rhaenyra do for the...
Well, they're both progressives. You know?
Yeah.
I think they would vote down ballot together,
Yeah.
right? Rhaenyra,
Yeah. Any feedback on the platform?
Mysaria is like, get those kids out of the fighting pits, right? And
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, I think, would be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Otto's like, I'll get to it. Rhaenyra's like,
Yeah.
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 Let's
and then
do it.
Daemon's like, you put Aegon on the throne. And she's like, nope. But then we go back to the infamous season 1 penultimate episode. And she said to Otto, remember.
She was a little pissy at that
Tough
moment. She
one.
had some vengeance to exact. But listen,
Jealousy, though. 2 episodes in a row.
turning Saints into the sea.
Sure.
Is that the lyric? Let's keep going.
Mysaria is jealousy. Something to track, something to watch, something to think about. But it is time for a more intimate exchange between just Daemon and Rhaenyra, because someone has to tell Rhaenyra that Vhagar has left King's Landing at last, and Daemon's like, I'm up, I'll do it. Goes in, Rhaenyra's in pajamas in bed.
Jim Jams.
Just such a deeply relatable
Yeah.
human moment. Loved it. And the first exchange here is...
If it were you,
Yeah.
what else would be there? Is it like a hot water bottle? Is it some tea?
Am I in
book?
bed or on the couch?
You're in bed in your Jim Jams.
Just probably a water.
A water.
Yeah, a water. A bottle of water. Probably a book.
Okay.
That's
That's a fairly
shades down.
That's a very like austere sort of like,
Yeah.
bring me my bottle of water.
Bring me
I'm
my
like,
bottle of
give
water.
me my hot chocolate.
On the couch under the blanket of
12 different
sadness.
pillows.
Beverages aplenty.
Oh,
but in
beverages
bed,
galore.
really just water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I understand.
Yeah. I don't like spill.
Yep. I understand. I understand what's happening now.
Yeah.
I fail to consider your whole like nothing
My whole
unclean
thing.
shall ever touch my sheets.
Well, some unclean things can touch my sheets if I'm lucky. So he defied me. That is what sons do. Sometimes they also fuck their moms in their dreams.
Wow.
But again, don't bring it up. Don't ask about it. The fact that in this portrait of just unrelenting grief and despair, we also get the anger, right? He defied me, that these things are now entwined with each other kind of undeniably. And I was struck on the like hubris front, as we've talked about for many characters, including these. The way that they talked about Sheepstealer. You know, Rhaenyra's like, go find this dragon and this rider, and Daemon says it shall be done. So that's interesting, given the book to show swap of Nettles to Rhaena, like, and that is Daemon's daughter. That'll be interesting to watch what happens there. But just the like, it's impossible. It's impossible. That's not true. It's impossible.
I knew you were gonna do that.
I can't help it. And then I know you know I can't help it. So I'm like, why not? Just do it. You talk about it with Thrones, but it happens with Star Wars too. Can't help it. Like anyone would have described the sowing as impossible before it happened, but it did. So it's impossible that someone could claim a wild dragon. How could the Greens have claimed a dragon? Now, it's not actually a Team Green dragon. They don't know that. But it's more like broadly the fact that they're like, how could anybody but us have found a way to change the dragon math? That feels to me very notable.
If you're Rhaena,
Yeah.
how do you feel like no one's even considering you as an option?
I know, and like,
Who possibly could have done this?
that is tough.
Certainly not our 20-something-year-old daughter who's got plenty of Targ blood raging through her veins.
Would it be worth it for them to know it was you just for that one moment of like, was not familiar with your game?
Good job, Rhaena.
Now we have an issue.
Is she going to get one of those?
I don't know.
Great job, Rhaena.
I don't know. Good job, good effort. maybe a good job, good effort.
Yeah.
That's a sports meme.
Okay.
This is the quote you mentioned earlier, Joe. The boys who clung to me, who hid their little faces in my skirts, dead, so that I may sit upon a throne of swords. Of course, a throne made of swords makes me think of the Beric Jon season 7 exchange beyond the wall. We have to know what we're fighting for. I'm not fighting so some man or woman I barely know can sit on a throne made of swords. So what are you fighting for? Life. Death is the enemy, the first enemy and the last. And as Rhaenyra and everyone considers the cost, the toll, what is worth it? Daemon. Godfather 3 memes her.
Yeah. Just
when
yeah.
I thought I was out, you pulled me back in. Switches to High Valyrian and whispers
Your
the
Pacino
prophecies.
impression. I've always said.
That's right. Pitch perfect.
Oh my god.
Al, are you here today?
I hope people, the audio listeners only, were like, oh my god, they got
How did they get Al
Pacino in the studio.
Oh my god. The prophecy. And the switch to High Valyrian to remind them
Their
who
bubble.
they are, their bubble, their cocoon, their history, but also just like their inheritance, this thing now that they have to do. And it's interesting because on the one hand, it's like a reminder that there is more at stake, not just than their family, which is a fucked up way to think about it, but a way you could think about it if you're making these choices, right? Even just this war. You know, there's the Varys, like the realm someone must idea of like who is doing this for the pure thing and then who has this kind of other context or reason they're bringing to it. Okay, there's more at stake. The darkness from the north, we have to figure out a way to preserve life.
Yeah.
But
how do we make sure that season 1 of Game of Thrones happens?
exactly. It's a paradox.
It's a must.
It's already happened, and so we got to make sure it happens.
Yeah. It's true.
As we like to talk about with Rhaenyra, when does that shift from, okay, when I was young, I wanted to eat cake. Then I became the heir and I learned about this thing. Now fuck these guys. You know, Rickard laughing and his men laughing when she pulls the sword. Aegon, all of the people who bent the knee to him instead. There's the need for vengeance and the fact that Rhaenyra knows that she was actually Viserys' chosen heir, but there's also the fact that she is the inheritor of the prophecy and that she carries the prophecy. And then there's the when does Rhaenyra get drunk on prophecy fear and this like red sewing stretch of like, I've been chosen.
Kind of like Celtigar. Just like really undermining.
Slap me in the face.
Really undermining our queen here.
As you know, I'm Team Black, Team Rhaenyra. Felt really grateful to see Rhaenyra on the throne, and I'm pretty concerned.
Okay.
I'm pretty concerned because I think that when Rhaenyra justifies these actions,
her face just being sopping wet with tears is not an auspicious beginning to.
You know, I think that
the soles of her feet being painted red, like Louboutin red with blood.
I think it's fair to say that your march up to the throne being shown to us in the reflection of a pool of blood of your father's former hand and your best friend's dad. It's worrying. It's a harbinger. It's an omen. So yeah, you know, what do you justify and what do you think is an acceptable choice to make if it's all for the sake of prophecy? That is just the through line of this entire show. And yet it's time to fly to King's Landing. I liked hearing the...
to King's Landing on the morrow.
to the gullet on the morrow, to King's Landing on the morrow. Queen's Landing, we should say. I liked this description from the cinematographer on, this was on House the Dragons Built, I think, about like the shift from through the smoke and the wreckage to the darkness into the brightness, the lightness of King's Landing. That was really interesting. And you know, there's this thing, it's like, you have these ominous, you have that, okay, the light, but then you have like the cut from, the sequence was like Orwell saying to Alicent, I don't know what you have done, your grace, but I fear something desperate. And then we cut to Rhaenyra's face in darkness and in shadow as the score is like, dun, dun, dun. It's like, that's kind of worrying, right? And this is a passage we didn't share last week from Fire and Blood, but it's an iconic one. Broken by the loss of one son, Rhaenyra Targaryen seemed to find new strength after the loss of a second. Jace's death hardened her, burning away her fears, leaving only her anger and her hatred. Still possessed of more dragons than her half-brother, her grace now resolved to use them no matter the cost. She would rain down fire and death upon Aegon and all those who supported him, she told the Black Council, and either tear him from the Iron Throne or die in the attempt. Riding leathers?
Yep.
Jace's sword on her side.
Hip. Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that? Because we'll talk about the Dark Sister symbolism and significance, but there are more than one sword choice here that carries.
Her carrying Jace's sword is like, it's so beautiful. And, her strapping on a sword in the first place is something that she talked about a lot in season 2, of course.
Yeah.
So she has a sword. It's her dead son's sword, though. And that is just like, again, what was the cost to get her here to this place?
The trail of blood everywhere. The path of blood.
She's walking in a pool of Otto's blood, but it's also Jace's blood and Luke's blood.
Yes.
You know what I mean? On the way up to the throne.
When the adult cast is introduced into the show, season 1, episode 6, and Alicent summons Rhaenyra after childbirth to the room.
Trail of blood.
Trail of blood. It's trail of blood, trail of blood, trail of blood. It's long walk, it's long walk, it's long walk. It's baptism by blood, baptism by blood, baptism by blood.
I was thinking of our guy Viserys
Me too.
a lot.
I mean, because of the halting, slow nature of how Rhaenyra marches up to the throne in particular, it was so hard not to think of Viserys. Really, really good. It was helpful, I thought, that Mysaria gave Rhaenyra the crown, because that is an important symbol. Though, like, the reminder that she actually was Viserys' chosen heir, that this is her rightful inheritance and that it was stolen from her. Helpful. So appreciated
the
that.
other crown's just out there in the wilderness.
I know. Yeah.
Did they grab
Did they grab that back? Was that in the satchel, you think, that Larys took? The crown in there? I hope so.
Yeah.
Hopefully. That would be a tough one to leave behind. I would have taken another minute.
He's like,
to
I have
grab
enough
that.
gold, and also I bothered to get the ruby encrusted crown.
Oh, man. Taking the Red Keep. Joe, any feedback from anybody as far as you have confronted in the world about the battle tactics here? And have you seen anything? Has anyone mentioned anything?
A few people have noted that it was perhaps, speaking of the hubris of Targaryens, hubristic of Daemon and Rhaenyra to just the two of them. Romantic, but hubristic.
Date night?
Yeah. You and me, storming the castle. This is what our listener, and I believe you pronounce it, Neve is how you pronounce his name. I believe it is a very fun Irish name. When calculating, this is a comment left on the Talk of Thrones. Thank you so much. When calculating whether it is good strategy to go into a castle with only your spouse, 2 swords, and conquest on the mind, one must consider how cool the two of you will look doing it if you succeed. Are you wearing matching black leather outfits? Do you have matching supernaturally colored hair because you're also related? Is one of you very, very good at fighting? Is the other one radiating a palpable force field of rage and grief? Are you both very, very good looking?
Well,
strategy considerations.
Makes sense to me.
Tick, 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 tick. All the way down the row.
This is so funny. Like,
I mean, it's very dumb. It's very dumb that Rhaenyra and Daemon just like the two of them walk in. Is
they
it fun?
Air support.
Yeah.
But no ground support.
And the air support are asked to just like hang back.
Yeah.
In case how would they know if they're needed?
I know. They're really just there in case another dragon shows up.
I guess
so.
Dreamy!
Was there any particular glimpse of, first of all, did you have any of the Bells PTSD? Seeing dragons over King's Landing, it's all it takes. Any of
was like, all this for Bran to wind up on the throne.
Oh my God. Any looks from the small folk below that struck you as particularly notable? We've got Ulf's pub pals. We've got Hugh's wife, Sylvie, who was like, remember, it's the small folk like me.
Remember, Aemond loves a mommy. Hugh's wife. Yeah. Well, I was actually really struck by Hugh's wife because she's on her way out of there, right? Yes. Like that's her whole vibe is like, I'm going to Tumbleton.
Yeah.
I'll be safe there. Don't worry about it. Does she know that that's her husband up on a dragon?
I was wondering that too.
I don't know that she knows that her husband has a dragon.
I feel like
I would let Hugh send a raven if I were Rhaenyra, Like,
I mean, it seems like
tell your loved ones you have a dragon.
If he must have.
Right? But let's say he didn't. I don't know why he wouldn't. My dearest wife, like while he's camping,
what
right?
if from above he had just been like, yo!
Remember our dead daughter? I got a dragon now. It's sick.
Sorry I couldn't find enough chicken for the soup, the blockade, but
I got a dragon now. That was very interesting to me. Does she know that he's a dragon? Follow-up question. Do viewers who have not done a complete rewatch know that that's his wife? Or that those are Ulf's pub pals, or that's Aemond's preferred brothel worker?
And will they know midway through season 4 who Tywin Lannister is? I don't know. These are questions for the time. Oh my God. The Hightower soldiers in the courtyard.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, swords down. Daemon says the real test is going to be in the inside, and Claire Kilner's like, bet, because I'm going to do a Kill Bill. Not here with the
She's like, you know what I did? King Kong and Tarantino, motherfuckers.
Incredible. Really, really great.
And Andy Greenwald didn't like it. Actually, I don't know how Andy feels about Tarantino, but,
Oh, interesting.
something to think about.
What's your favorite Tarantino movie? Inglourious Bastards? That's mine.
I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at the Arrow for the 70mm festival.
How was
so funny because there were just like a bunch of bros there in their like Cliff Booth Hawaiian shirts.
Amazing.
I was like, wow, you got your Cliff Booth cosplay. That dude killed his wife. Something to think about. Anyway,
I saw
don't
that
know.
in the theater, but never in 70mm.
It's hard to pick.
Yeah.
Difficult, really difficult. But it might just be Pulp Fiction. It might just be that.
Completely respectable choice. Hard to argue.
But the Kill Bill duology is
Kill
incredible.
Bill rules.
And yeah, Glorious Bastards rules and Jackie
True.
Brown rules and, Reservoir Dogs rules. I love Tarantino.
Me
so
too.
Give me that blood. But yeah, she's like, we're going to do an overhead shot. She did a bunch of overhead shots. But she's like, this is specifically invoking, the scene with the bride and the yellow and Go-Go and like all of that. So yeah, it's really fun.
Fantastic stuff. Then they make their way. They cut through some more soldiers and make their way to the throne room. And Daemon throws open the doors. And then we and Rhaenyra just get to enjoy a really satisfying moment where he turns and says, Your Grace, like it's for you.
Not the Hateful Eight. Okay, sorry.
Oh, wow.
That movie was a disappointment.
Was there a moment of all the moments with Daemon and this throne that was most top of mind for you in this entire sequence of watching him support Rhaenyra rising to take it? Was it?
I was thinking about Vaemond Valerian, really.
Well, I mean, he did cut his head off in that throne room in front of that throne. And so that is, folks, our 6th mention of Daemon today. They said it couldn't be done, and yet here we are. Daemon sitting on that throne as Rhaenyra entered the room in season 1. The Harrenhal dreams of cutting Rhaenyra down from that throne, the vision of seeing Rhaenyra on that throne.
So are we meant to believe that, like, Daemon is, true to his word, that his dream drug trip, White Lotus stay at Harrenhal has converted him, and he is just like sincerely supporting Rhaenyra now. He's like,
so.
You have to do it. You have to be the one to cut off the head because they won't respect you otherwise.
Yeah.
Kind of don't anyway, but like this will only make it worse.
This is the moment you become queen.
Yeah. Like, interesting to see that. From
Ride or
Daemon.
die.
Yeah.
And, we were always like in the very beginning when Daemon was doing all of these things, and Viserys is sitting on that very throne when he has to cast Daemon out of the city. Time and time again, if we're being honest about it. We were always like, does Daemon really want that for himself? Actually, and the show certainly went through a period of saying he thought he did. Even then, we had moments that are some of our favorite in the run of the show to date. Picking up the crown and putting it on his brother's head. He could have knocked him over and taken the seat for himself right there, but he didn't.
I'm gonna cry.
He didn't, Joe. And so this felt so connected to that moment in particular for me in a way that felt so rich and rewarding for these characters and their very complicated history with each other. I just loved that. Loved it. Didn't love Rickard laughing at, I don't know how much we want to get into this out of the book spoiler section. I think this is fine to say, like, Rickard's plot is just completely different in the show because a character who he was supposed to basically be, like, off with just isn't in the show.
Butterflies, baby.
Butterflies. So this is a less glorious and charitable outcome for this character. That's interesting.
Do you think the actor who plays Sir Rickard, really upvoted George's blog post? He's like, yeah!
Butterflies. The laughter, though, it is definitely like it's a validation, right? Every fear that Rhaenyra has had of like, what do they think of a woman? Pulls that sword, the one that she has spent episode after episode saying was never in my hand, and they fucking laugh in her face. So she does have to cut off Otto's head, and undeniably she has to cut off.
And
Otto's
eventually,
head. And then
she does.
Eventually, she does, and she will. Luther, they come in, feels better than seeing the Gold Cloaks fuck over Ned Stark. This time they sided with our beloved characters. That's exciting. Luther looked great doing it. And then Rhaenyra says, bring Aegon, the usurper,
it was so...
to me.
Were you not like shriveling inside? You're like, Rhaenyra, he's not there. Oh my God. Don't
I
say it so
know.
loudly and bombastically.
I know. It's tough. Now, Daemon's like in a pretty good mood about it. He's like, we could just sub in this guy, right? subbing this guy.
Thrilled.
What do you think of the Larys contingency plan reveal?
I love this.
Yeah, tell me why.
Because Larys is my favorite character.
Yeah, so anytime we can mention him. Great.
I love that Larys did this. This is great. I mean, we didn't know where Otto was. We talked to Chris about this and Talk of Thrones. We did not know where Otto was at the end of, but basically Otto left to go back to Old Town and Larys was just like, yoink.
Yeah.
Throw him in the deepest, darkest, depths, the bowels of the. Do you know who wrote that episode, Bowels of the Pleasure Den episode?
Season 1, episode 4. Can't remember.
Ira Parker.
Oh, shit. Ira, you rule.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Fun.
Wow.
Bowels of the Pleasure. So in the bowels of the Black Cells, we find Otto Hightower. I love that Larys did this.
Me too.
Larys is just ready, whatever he needs to do. And we saw this when he and Aegon were captured in the last episode.
Yep.
He's just like, oh yeah, that's the king.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to get Larys to stay alive and survive until the next play,
Right.
he will do it.
Right. And it's interesting to pair
And
those moments across these and reveals across these episodes because it's like when we talk about trust and loyalty, can you ever really have it with a character like Larys? Like, is the only side he's really on his own? Or does
really
he have an
depends.
allegiance, but he's ready for
It depends how much he likes your feet,
if you let him crank it and you flash a little toe. He stays loyal for at least a minute. I mean, that's like one of the great rewarding parts about the Larys Otto thing here too. Cause like, I was thinking back to how, we associated very intimately Alicent and Larys. But then when Larys had that stretch with Otto where he was like, no reason I can't do this for you. Just to get close enough to be able to snatch him? Or was he sincere? But then it ended up making more sense to do this other thing. Like all of it is in play with him all the time. When Otto said, I'm peacing out to head back to my home and my family, that was season 2, episode 2. Season 2, episode 2.
Been a minute.
We got a flash of him in the finale, but that was a long fucking time ago.
Rats have grown on Common Lodge.
I thought Daemon's laugh, his
Oh.
laugh of glee.
Well, you knew it was Otto, though.
As soon as the shadowy figure
Yeah.
emerges and is like,
Milord.
my prince, a gift.
My lord, I have a treat for you.
A gift. If you ever return from Lord Larys Strong, it's like, this has to be Otto.
Otto.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But it is confirmed before we see Otto by Daemon's cackle of jubilation that can only come from seeing his
2 out
most
of 5 stars.
despised
Yeah.
nemesis rotting away, festering in the black cells. Very, very, very satisfying. What did you make of what transpired, not just between Daemon and Otto, but when Daemon brings Otto in, between Otto and Rhaenyra?
Oh, I just thought it was so good because this is so complicated for Rhaenyra because of course Otto is the architect of the conspiracy against her. He absolutely is. But also she was raised with him as this figure in her household, you know what I mean? And before she was a threat to him in one way or another as he so decided, he was almost like an uncle-like figure to her. This is her best friend's father. This is her father's closest confidant. So it's just extremely complicated.
Yeah.
I think it would be hard for Rhaenyra to behead almost anyone, but
sure.
this is just really hard, this figure of authority for you growing up and all these other things.
Yeah.
I just want to say, when I made fun of the way that Rhaenyra did not take his head cleanly off, and some people were like, I'd like to see you do better. Obviously, I would be way worse at this. Obviously, I would hit him in the knee and the ankle. I do love that Rhaenyra closes her eyes. It was all very
That
good.
was great.
Clean break on the second hit. The Valyrian steel doing its job.
Valerian's still very
that's
sharp.
great.
Yeah.
We mentioned on Talk of Thrones, we mentioned Theon Greyjoy.
Yes.
And
our beloved Roderick.
That
was even more of a hatchet job.
Oh, way worse. Plus it was raining,
Messy.
But if you from the very beginning, Ned Stark saying he who passes sentence must swing the sword and using ice to behead, this poor guy who saw a zombie. We've been tracking this ever since, whether it's Theon and the hatchet job he does there, whether it's Robb with the Karstark, whether it's Daenerys having other people do the work for her in Essos, it's just sort of who's passing. Eventually Daenerys is I can just roast him with my dragon.
Yes.
And that at least was her doing the work.
Yes.
But it's just sort of what kind of leader are you? Can you pass a sentence and swing the sword? Can you do it cleanly? Theon, this boy who took Winterfell and was just way in over his head from the beginning, hacking away at this guy who helped raise him.
Yeah.
Much like Otto helped raise Rhaenyra, and to a certain degree, a way less degree.
Helped raise her by ratting out to her dad that she was trying to fuck her uncle in the bells of a pleasure den, and by helpfully suggesting that he could betroth Rhaenyra to her at that point infant half-brother. He always tried to do his part.
Keep it in the family.
He always tried to do his
keep
part.
It in the family. Why not?
Oh, fucking Otto. So satisfying to see this guy's head get cut off, though I will miss him.
So, yeah. It's a grand Thrones tradition. I love that they did this here. This is very different than what happened. I mean, Otto dies here.
Otto's still the first to be beheaded. Yeah.
But this is very different than what happens when Rhaenyra takes the throne in the book. And we'll talk about it in the spoiler section, but there's a thing that happens when she takes the throne that we've been talking about in the spoiler section since the beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it later, but they haven't done it here. And I love this way more. I think her walking through a puddle of blood that she had to have an active hand in creating.
It's a really good choice.
And those bloody steps up to the throne, I think is an incredible adaptive choice.
Yeah.
Really, really smart.
I loved everything about this. I think that the fact that Rhaenyra doesn't want to do this and that I don't want it to have to inflict directly that violence, even on someone who deserves it and who you are willing to offer. She wouldn't have any problem with Daemon killing Otto. But I think your point is important about just the history between the characters. It's not a stranger. The fact
I think
that
Jasper would have been way easier for her.
No question.
Her, no
question. The fact that
also shout out Orwell.
I know.
Who's just navigated his way through this with a plum.
A horse. A horse. It's all of the man who passes the sentence should swing the sword stuff, and it's also and you're a woman, and they're all wondering if you're going to be able to do it, if you're going to have the constitution and fortitude.
So feeble, and when we saw these steps in the trailer, we both knew it was Rhaenyra walking through a puddle of blood to the throne, but we weren't sure whose blood it was. But we were and I didn't want to spoil that it was Rhaenyra taking the throne, and you were just sort of like, it looks like a womanly gait.
Yeah, it did.
But I like how we've seen Rhaenyra stride confidently.
Yeah.
So it's not just a womanly gait.
Absolutely.
There's just sort of this tiptoe uncertainty of this moment, and I just love that. I love that Rhaenyra does not stride with confidence up to the throne, that she just has to do this horrible thing, that she's crying, that she's mewling, and I support that. Her just being I can't do it.
Same.
I'm not disparaging her.
No,
one should be horrified.
You should
to
feel
do
broken
this,
after all of these things have happened.
And then just wavering her way up to the throne.
Yeah.
Just feeling all of the feelings that she's feeling about it. And then Alicent walks in, and her just having to sort of steel herself. Be oh no. So and now Alicent has to see that I did this. And also Alicent didn't even get away. That was sort of part of the whole point of this whole thing was that I wasn't supposed to have to then deal with the consequences of Alicent being here because she's supposed to be gone.
Yeah. Alicent wasn't supposed to have to look at the toll of it, and Rhaenyra wasn't supposed to have to see that on Alicent's face.
And now I'm supposed to take heads. Am I supposed to take Alicent's head? I don't want to. I never wanted to.
Yeah.
And so all of this what now is there? And then she just sort of squares her shoulders and in microaggressions. Micro facial expressions, expressions, what I meant. Her face just morphs into something else. And I just think she's incredible.
Carlos, can we see it? It's genuine spine-tingling chills. Just amazing work from both.
Microaggressions on me and my emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The control you need to take, the mastering of yourself.
Yeah,
slight raise of yourself.
Slight raise of chin. Really good.
I love you calling out that we've seen these different postures and modes from Rhaenyra before. Because the thing that flashes into my mind hearing that is in the hunt. That confident march back into camp, and everybody else is
yeah,
whoa, right? And that this should feel like an impossible thing to navigate. And also just the relief. It's all of it, right? All of these things mixed together. And yeah, Viserys, I think on our minds most of all with that, 27-minute long walk to the throne. And now
excellent.
Love it.
You know who else should be there? Jace should be there.
I know.
Like if if Jace were still around, Jace and Daemon would have been on her side. Like,
who is there and not there to observe this moment? Actually, like, that was on my mind too when Otto, just a little quick look that transpires between Otto and Rhaenyra here, thinking of how when Viserys did show up in episode 8 in season 1, how Otto had to remember kind of like bow out of the way because Viserys had come to support and choose Rhaenyra. That was so great. Oh man. And yeah, like I liked on the Roderick Theon front, the way that like Roderick's words send Theon into this like complete state of like debilitating doubt and shame and insecurity, and he has to compensate for that with this like show. The way
God help you, Theon Greyjoy. Now you are
you're
truly lost.
Rhaenyra
If your
was
father
kind of like,
could see this.
Yeah, Otto's version of that, my final words will be meant to damn you.
Yeah.
The way that Rhaenyra responded to that, like, I'm actually not going to let you talk anymore.
I'm going to hit you in the spine.
Let me say this. 2 strokes, it's pretty impressive, actually, for your first time
I
beheading
agree.
someone. It's pretty impressive.
I don't disagree.
I have Dark Sister at home. Maybe I'll try it. What, like, melons should I use? Not on an actual person, obviously. Adam, I promise you'll be spared. What, like a watermelon?
I was like the mailman? Who were you attacking?
What would that, maybe like a cantaloupe?
Do you think you could hit it at the exact angle that Aemond Velaryon
like
lost?
Like a baguette? Holy fuck! Oh, most powerfully magical number, so we won't get to 8 today, I don't think.
That's it. It's a book spoiler section time, and I don't need to talk about Aemond there.
The Jace,
spoiler, he's dead.
He's dead. Head cut right off above the tongue. The Jace sword, not being the one that she uses, but Visenya's sword. Well, Dark Sister, sharper because it's Valyrian sword. So Daemon's like, let me help you out. But the symbolism of one of the ancestral swords of House Targaryen in this moment of becoming queen, but also just the fact that Visenya was, we think of like Arya, a heroine of yours, Tywin saying of Visenya, a heroine of Rhaenyra's too, a warrior, sister, wife, queen, who Rhaenyra has studied. Yeah. This is people looked at Visenya in a way they didn't look at Rhaenyra.
It also feels quite intimate to like hand your Valyrian steel sword to someone.
I agree. Use my sword.
Yeah.
Use it. Why don't you? I'm sure everything will be fine for these characters, and that they will live happily ever after.
Well, the war's over.
The war's done. That's a wrap.
Yep. Rhaenyra's on the throne.
The rest of the episodes are honestly, it's just looking for Thailand.
Yeah.
From here.
Dreamfire.
Book spoilers?
Let's do it.
Okay, if you don't want to hear this, go.
The Horn of Helmhammerhand. All right. Can I hit you with an email we got from a listener?
Yeah, of course.
Dean, our listener Dean wrote this in sort of regards to Alys Rivers as the Lorax. Mm-hmm. Alys is in a perfect position to heal Aemond just enough to kill Daemon, 2 dragons, and then himself.
Yeah.
Take 2 major dragons and like the 2 most fearsome warriors on each side off the board.
Yeah.
She did that. I choose to believe.
This passage from Fire and Blood has always been epic, but thinking of it now with what we're seeing in the show, who told you where to find me? This is what Daemon says to Aemond.
My lady.
My lady. She saw you in a storm cloud.
Not the dragon.
In a mountain pool at dusk in the fire we lit to cook our suppers. She sees much and more.
My Alys.
Oh, mommy. I mean, do you think there's any chance that there will actually be something like genuine and authentic between these 2 crazy kids, Aemond One Eye and Alys? Or just she's like, okay, Daemon's not going to give me what I want, but I can get it through you?
Maybe. Put a baby in me?
Yeah. On the Harrenhal front,
sure.
This witch queen of Harrenhal future for Alys, like, that is a thing that happens in the book. I guess the question is like,
for how long?
Yeah.
She'll take it, but she will not keep it long.
Well, and do they have to like move that up maybe? Because like there's a lot, that's like Regency timeline stuff. Like, will we
because now you know that we're not doing the Regency.
No, I've not accepted that, actually. I do think Rhaenyra makes it to the very end of the show, like finale. I think the penultimate or finale, you're right, but I think they still have to give us something beyond that.
I do think Rhaenyra, like, let's say Rhaenyra dies top of the finale.
Yeah.
We do, of course, need to see Aegon die.
Have to.
And it has to be clear that Team Black, like, wins.
That's
it. That's it.
Yes. But then
But I don't know that Cregan Stark needs to be there.
Why bring
because
Black Alley in if they're not gonna hitch up?
Like, you think Cregan Stark's gonna show up and people are gonna be like, remember season 2, episode 1? That's Cregan Stark, you know?
Yeah, and they all have been primed to remember him because they will have just been introduced at the beginning of the finale to Tywin Lannister again. What if the end of season 4 is just, do you remember these characters? You haven't seen them in 4 years.
The previously on is just like 20 minutes long.
You guys thought the 6.5 minute previously on at the beginning of the season 3 was a doozy? Look out. One of the things that I'm curious about is, like, because Aemond, is stabbed and incapacitated here. I presume that, I don't know, was that like a kidney wound? Like, I assume he's going to be out of commish for a bit here, but hopefully not too long. You know, when will we get the, like...
Vhagar raises the countryside.
And even just him learning about King's Landing and feeling like such an idiot, like all of that. Is he just like going to be in the sick bed?
I don't know. Is he going to be having fun dreams? Is he going to? We talked about this before, but is Alys going to present as Alicent to him? You know, sort of thing.
Where are you on that? You think it's going to happen?
I would love it.
That would be.
Olivia
great.
Cook would hate it, and it would be really funny. Vhagar sort of like taken out her temper on the countryside, like. That's very anti whatever it is that Alys Rivers wants. So
that's true.
You know,
doesn't seem like she would support that.
Yeah,
she would just say, "Let's stay in bed and fuck, and I'll give you some mother's milk."
How about you don't burn a bunch of trees and also, I guess, the people.
Yeah.
And
here's some breast milk.
Suckle up my teeth.
Ties you over instead. Rhaenyra. Okay, let's talk about the throne cuts that didn't happen.
I love this.
This is just so interesting. Okay, here's the passage. As her lord husband, Prince Daemon, escorted her from the hall, cuts were seen upon her grace's legs and the palm of her left hand, wrote Eustace. Drops of blood fell to the floor. I know, fucking Eustace. Drops of blood fell to the floor as she went past, and wise men looked at one another, though none dared speak the truth aloud. The Iron Throne had spurned her, and her days upon it would be few. That is one of the all-time, like, hammer notes in Fire and Blood. This is such an interesting, when we think about the adaptation.
So your question is, like, will it happen later this season? Will the throne cut her later this season? People be like, ooh.
Because if it doesn't happen,
but it's like kind of dumb.
It's
kind of dumb. Like, think about how you convey this in TV storytelling. Like, let's say the throne had cut her.
Yeah.
Like, let's say she didn't walk through the pool of blood. Otto's pool of blood is over here.
Yeah.
She takes a clean walk up to the throne. It cuts her. She's like, she walks out and some blood's dripping. And people are like, peas and carrots. Like,
right.
Did you know that this means supernaturally that the throne has rejected her and she will not keep it long? Like, we don't have that lore.
They could have that conversation later when she had to put her rotting fingers in a bowl of maggots like Viserys did.
Okay. So which characters are saying it?
I mean, I think it would be hard to convey, but it does
Lord and Lady Random Who's What's It?
I
don't know.
Why did we do it all with Viserys then? Because that all felt like such an intentional choice to set it up. And then they've like, it doesn't, this is better. What I think is delicious to consider.
Yeah.
I think you're right to flag that it would be hard to convey that, like, aspect of it. I don't know. Someone could be like, Maegor! They found him with the blade of the throne through his neck!
You know Maegor.
Good old Maegor! That's what, Maegor's tits! They could do it that way. I don't know. Would that be good? Maybe not.
Should you get into TV writing?
I should just I'm available. I'm actually not. But maybe I can be.
She's very busy.
The idea that the histories are written by these fucking men presented Rhaenyra as unworthy from the jump.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That feels right.
If Celtigar were in that room, he'd be like,
did you guys see that blood?
Did you see what happened? Not that she walked through a pool of blood to get there, but I believe the throne cut her, and that's why she's bleeding.
God.
Listen to me. Don't listen to your eyes.
Incredible.
Question about the cat's paw.
Tell me.
Where do you think it goes from here? Because for a second I was like, does it get lost in the does it wind up with other Targaryens going forward?
Yeah.
Or, because Aemond has it and he's not leaving Harrenhal.
Right.
So because if you're listening to this and you don't know, he dies at the God's Eye because Helaena, remember, said so.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
A promise is a promise.
So like, I kind of liked the idea that it like goes down to the bottom of the God's Eye, but like, and then finds its way back somehow, or you know, it gets passed down, and then Robert has it, and then Baelish steals it from Robert, or like whatever. But like, I kind of like it. Like, the Dagger of Prophecy getting lost in the God's Eye is like a really cool, or like, oops, he drops it over the Isle of Faces, or like something like that. You know, like that would be pretty cool.
Could a Green Man just like courier it to?
Or Alys just has it, and she just
Alys having it would be fun.
Alys has the Dagger of Prophecy. She's using it to cut up like werewood goo in the kitchen. Yeah,
love it. Just use it to stir the cauldron.
She grinds in her mortar and pestle with a handle.
I'm into it. It's interesting in general to think of a few chain of custody questions, because there's that, and then there's just like, who else is Rhaenyra going to share the prophecy with?
Yeah,
you know, she told Jace.
He did.
He's dead. Is she going to tell Joffrey, little Joffrey? Well, we're in the book spoiler section, so if she does, it's not going to fucking matter, because he's going to die too.
Do you think they're bringing Joffrey back, or they just like, don't worry about it?
I think, oh my God, they have to.
I don't know what they're doing with these children.
Joffrey, on the dragon hubris, and do they understand the actual magic of these beasts? Like, little Joffrey trying to fly his mother's dragon and then dying is one of my, like, it sounds weird to say favorite moments, but
you
it
love
is.
It when small children die.
It's a rich text. But yeah, like, you know, in a desperate moment of trying to bridge these divides, like, would Rhaenyra tell Alicent? Would she tell Aegon? Like,
I think she would
die inside of this story.
I could really see her tell Alicent. I could see her telling Mysaria. I could see her telling, you know, those are the people really. Yeah. Aegon, I don't think so, but we'll see.
How many? She's like, your dragon's eating me, but wait, I have no idea. The people who hang around this long are ready for anything. On the Helaena front.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here's what I want to say about this.
Tell me.
I usually get so annoyed when I'm watching a TV show and I know that they're like trying to build up my affection for a character right before they kill them.
Yeah.
But they've just been doing this with Helaena so long. Like, I've just been like into Helaena for so long. And they've, I think, ratcheted her up in the last couple episodes of just sort of like, what a reprieve from the horror of all of this is just sort of like, we're all rooting for Helaena. And every single person.
Yeah.
All the bugs in the garden are rooting for Helaena.
Tragedy awaits.
Chickens deserve to have Helaena. I used to have chickens. I did in Oakland. We had chickens.
Incredible.
It's great.
Did you have like fresh eggs?
Yeah.
Did you have a rooster? I guess you need one.
No, we didn't have a rooster. We had 4 laying hens. Anyway, what was I saying for chickens? Okay.
Helaena.
We're all rooting for Helaena, and then Helena's gonna skydive out the window. And that's going to be really tough. And I think it's happening this season because I forget who said it, Olivia Cook.
Yeah.
And it, like, what advice would you give? And she was like, lock your windows.
Sheesh.
Good job, Olivia. Anyway, I think Helena's going out the window this season, and that's so sad.
That is really a bummer. Do you think there is any chance, and I don't like asking this question, that Mysaria is going to be involved with that? Because there is one of the tales. Nobody knows what happens with Helena's death in Fire and Blood.
Did she follow a butterfly out the window?
Did she follow a butterfly out the window? It's
Did she go dream fire?
Oh, beware the butterflies! Oh.
That's horrible.
I think she's speared, right? Like, so not that way.
Oh my God, the guys on the controller are like, make it end.
God Christ. One of the accounts.
Yeah.
It connects the idea of Mysaria telling Helaena about Mailer, who is not currently in this show, we must acknowledge, about his death. And that like despair and grief drives Helaena to suicide. That's one of the like presented accounts. So Mysaria has a connection to a piece of book.
Yeah.
Do you think that like because they seem to be stoking this Mysaria, Rhaenyra, Alicent jealousy? Like
Mysaria, Rhaenyra, Alicent, Daemon.
Yeah. Is there any path? I don't want this to happen, but is there any path
I wouldn't
Mysaria?
put anything past Mysaria, personally.
Would she kill Helaena?
She could.
To hurt Alicent?
She could.
and have Alicent blame it on Rhaenyra
Oh.
to put a wedge between them? It feels like in play.
Maybe, but like I actually think at this point nothing is driving a wedge between Rhaenyra and Alicent. Famous last words, perhaps, but like so much has happened, and the show is like, guess what? They're still besties.
Ride or die.
Yeah,
Ride or die.
Can I talk to you about the thing I'm most excited to talk to you about in this
Please.
spoiler
Yeah.
section?
Yeah.
Alan and Bela.
Yeah. More incest.
Jace's body, not yet cold because of the ocean waters, but not really like metaphorically cold, right?
Yeah.
Barely dead.
Yeah.
Alan does a little like waver lean into Bela. He's just like,
The vibes are palpable.
He's interested.
Yeah.
He is interested.
They are related.
And they will marry.
Yes. Incest!
But I was just like, this is fast.
It did seem quick.
Jace is dead.
That actually struck me.
I mean, that seemed like that's why that scene is there. For sure.
That struck me
Why
as
Bela
them-
doesn't get to like go to King's Landing for the conquering because she's too busy laying track for her husband, who's
That does
also
feel
her
like they're
uncle.
like, oh, we don't have this like that many episodes left. Like we got a lot to do and actually not that many episodes.
Correct.
So we've got to establish some vibes.
What are you most looking forward to seeing on the tapestry in weeks to come?
I hope Otto's head is there from this episode.
Butcher's Ball.
Oh, Butcher's Ball. Well, and this is like on the fish feed front. If we lose fish feed with barely any, I mean, Daemon, they have inserted Daemon, so he's a character we care about. But to really give us a full,
So it's
Roddy, Kristen, now Gawain, who didn't, isn't
so
it the Gold Cloaks?
it's Gawain and Kristen and their troops, and then Roddy and Oscar and Allie.
Yeah.
And is that going to be it? Is it going to be Roddy who's going to be like?
I think so, because we don't have some of the other characters
Yeah.
in the mix who need to be here. So Roddy feels like he'll get the Kristen kill shot. I think that seems likely based on where
satisfying
we are now.
as like, can we get Daemon back there?
Oh,
Get Daemon on Caraxes back there to kill Kristen Cole.
I mean, that would be fun.
That would be really fun. They're mates.
As Chris noted, they have dragons. They can move around with a quickness.
Mhm.
You know, that would be really fun. And then we'll have to have a split at some point where Roddy goes to Tumbleton and Oscar has to keep going to King's Landing.
Yeah.
Like the lads, even though
The
not all the
fists.
lads are here, have to get
divided
there. I guess
fist.
they could all go in all the places together, but Roddy will die, obviously, in Tumbleton. So sad.
Tommy
on the-
Flanagan, a 1-season guest star. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Kristen Cole dying.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe it shouldn't be Daemon, because the whole point about Kristen Cole's death is like you
Yeah.
die sad.
Yeah.
You don't get to have a big fun scene.
No songs.
You just die real sad.
No songs about how brave you died.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So Kristen's like, holy shit, and then just dies.
I mean, it could, honestly, for that reason, it shouldn't even be Roddy. It should just be no one. It
Yeah.
should be someone in the army we haven't even fucking met.
Or Black Alley. Like,
I hope it's Black
Yeah.
Alley or
let's get her.
or
she
Roddy.
gets to do something.
Roddy the Ruin.
She just
would
like
be really
shoots
fun.
him in the throat, and she's just like,
That would be great.
No.
As he's like, well, what if we just like
Yeah.
considered?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna take a lot of losses too, and they're like, that's why we came.
Roddy
here.
gets to kill Gawain, let's say.
I'm not ready to say goodbye to Gwen.
Okay.
Not enough time with Freddie Fox. 2 betrayers front.
Well, we should say,
Yeah.
you know, he's lasted longer than he should have.
I know he should be dead
He should be
as
dead
the Gold
as-
Cloaks
yeah.
turn. So that's nice.
As the Gold Cloaks turn.
That's my daily soap opera. Has the Gold Cloaks
Uh,
turn. 2 betrayers set up here. Just
If
a bounty.
Wait, really quickly.
Yeah.
If Roddy kills Gawain,
Yeah.
and then Ormond kills Roddy, does that feel like I killed your Ponce, you know,
as Roddy is killing Ormond.
Roddy's bragging about killing Gawain, and then Ormond kills him. Is that fun? I don't know.
Could be. And we gotta, yeah. I think Roddy it's interesting because we just met him. So for Roddy to kill Kristen and Ormond in like the span of a few episodes, that's like a major kill count, which like makes the most sense based on the canon. But like, that's a lot of bodies to rack up for a fairly new character.
And that's why you cast Tommy Flanagan.
Yeah. I am sad to have to say goodbye to Ormond at the end of this season, assuming Tumbleton. We don't know for sure, but it seems like a lock that Tumbleton would be the finale. They're doing a great job setting up the 2 betrayers. They really are.
Oh, Hugh and Ulf.
I mean, Ulf is going to be so ready to peace out on Team Black by the time it happens.
And then Hugh's like, my wife.
My wife.
Yeah, his wife's going to Tumbleton, which is not a place you want to be.
No, it's not.
The safest place in the realms.
No safer place. No safer place. That have you not betrayed your queen line from Rhaenyra too, just in general, setting up like the mistrust
Adam came too.
of her supporters. Ugh, very tough. What else? Let's see. Sunfire.
Long in the dying. Dear God, when do we get to be released from this fiction that they've created on the show that
I still don't
Sunfire is
understand
dead?
this. Okay, so let me ask you this, because in the book, Sunfire being alive and sort of like just there, stuck, healing is like established. And then suddenly it's like Sunfire got away. So we know Sunfire's gone.
Yeah.
The thing we don't know about is Aegon, actually.
Yeah.
For long stretches of Fire and Blood. And then that reunion at Dragonstone is like a huge reveal. So will we just be privy to every step of that story and like know that Aegon and Sunfire are basically preparing what they're preparing at Dragonstone? Like, will no part of that be a twist as it is in the book, given that we're just like we're traveling this road with Aegon? So I guess we'll see it all happen in real time, and that'll just be different.
Yeah.
Okay. They can only keep so many characters off the screen for 2 seasons.
Well,
at a
Aegon's
time.
so fun. You know?
Yes, it's true. He is. What else? Any other things we haven't?
Do you
hit?
think he puts Larys on in the Jace spot, just sort of like lumps Larys' bodies over the front of the saddle and takes him to Dragonstone?
Maybe, or maybe Larys travels by boat and meets him there.
So Tumbleton happens, and Aegon. Do you think Aegon takes Dragonstone end of the season?
That's kind of why I'm like curious, because in terms of overall plot beats, everything
long
that actually,
in the dying and long in the getting to Dragonstone.
yeah, and like everything that actually happens with Sunfire, Moondancer, Aegon, Vale, Rhaenyra, other Aegon, that should be very late in season 4.
Mhm.
So, like, that's a lot of episodes to cover.
Yeah, does Aegon just get to like hang out at Dragonstone for a season and just like chop it up with Celtigar?
Maybe. That would be fun.
The Aegon and Larys comedy show, but to make it Dragonstone?
Are they not going to do Celtigar's tax? I mean, it doesn't seem like he's getting the invite to King's Landing.
I hope he does not
Me
make
too.
it over to King's Landing.
Me too. Anything else?
Not really.
Laurent, he's going to have his head and face so beaten that they can't identify him other than by the size of his body. Sir Luther, which is just sad given how handsome we now know he is. Tough one.
Yeah. You really like Luther.
It looks great.
I feel like we did it.
We did it. Episode 3. Talk the Thrones. Sunday night with Chris Ryan. Can't wait.
I've heard, there was like rumor of this like conceptual episode this season, and that is, I've like heard what episode 3 is, so I'm really excited to see how that all rolls out. But I feel like they're trying something new with episode 3, something a little different. Yeah.
Intriguing. It seemed like the preseason reviews also were like
Episode 3
high on that
banger.
episode.
Cool.
So that's exciting. Hopefully it's good. Thank you. Thank you to you, my darling, my most beloved Joanna Robinson, first of her name. And thank you to our Queensguard. Rhaenyra's Queensguard failed her, but ours,
I rate them higher than the Queensguard.
ours is crushing it. Carlos Chiraboga.
Correct.
Scott Lee. Jacob Cornett. Arjuna Ramgopal. And Jomi Adeniran squad. And anyone else who helped today. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else was here today. Jamie was here last week. Was Jamie here today? I don't think so. But Jamie, thanks to you anyway. We will see everybody on Sunday night immediately after House of the Dragon episode 3 for Talk to Thrones, and then we will see you on Monday. Oh no, maybe not Monday. We don't know when the next Lestat is.
Sometime soon.
TBD.
for
Sometime
Lestat.
next week. And then next Tuesday evening for the deep dive into episode 3.
Bye.
A horse!